Hey everybody, welcome to Fresh Out the Box Plays WildSea from Felix Isaacs. I am the usual game master and board game guru, Johananon.
And I'm the co-host Casualty CDG, but you can call me Gary. I'm a retired child crimes and human trafficking detective turned tabletop titan and improv comedian.
I'm Ty Moore, Dungeon Mr. Ty, and founder and owner of Adventure Slang Productions. AdventureSlang.com if you want to check us out. Appreciate it.
And I am Felix Isaacs, the creator of the WildSea, along with lots of other very lovely people. And I'm here to run a game, I think. And all of that stuff was completely new to me, so that's... No pressure.
Before we got started, we were like, lines and veils, and I didn't tell him my background. I'm just like, here's some lines and veils. I want to explain why. Yeah, now they might make a little more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary did stuff.
We have been excited to play WildSea. We first saw it on Kickstarter, I think, seriously, last year? Maybe October of last year?
October last year is about right.
So it's been 13 months that I've been following on Twitter. I have sent WildSea messages. I've retweeted their stuff. I've liked everything. I've been following this project as close as I could, as long as I can. And we are super honored to have you here tonight. We're so excited to play this game. We've told so many people about your game. This setting is just magnetic. I'm so in. I was in from the Kickstarter, and I didn't realize that the playtest had come so far and that this playtest was so deep. I'm in. I'm so in on this project.
There are new jobs and races and backgrounds from the first time that we saw this thing, and they're awesome, and I'm really excited.
Yeah, well, I think our kind of playtest philosophy was give as much as we can while still making the end product feel special for people that buy it. Because one of the things that I've always hated with a lot of playtests that I've taken part in is so much of it is like, here is the hint of a cool thing, but we're not going to tell you anything about it until like a year down the line. So we wanted to get that kind of like, here's a hint of a cool thing, and here's more of the cool thing, and here's some of the cool thing you can play with and do things with, and then there's going to be more later as well. Trust us. And it's worked out so far.
Yeah, no, it's been it's so cool. It's come so far. Like I'm blown away. When you were laughing about like, oh, there's been some updates from Playtest B, I was like, holy crap, this is
it's like 150 pages longer or something.
This is quite the upgrade.
And it wasn't 50 pages of filler, it was 50 pages of new content.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy world to write stuff for. It's
So I guess my character, if that's cool, I've decided I am Waylon, the Iron Mind. I am an ardent, rootless screw. And it does sound like I'm being mean to myself, but that's my bloodline, my origin, and my post, which is like my job. And I'm very excited.
I'm actually figuring out a name for myself right now, if you don't mind. But
that's fine. I'm just writing this down as I go as well. That's how prepared I am.
Well, I'll jump in real quick. I am Soulfugue, which I'm happy with that name. Soulfugue, is it Gao? Or
yeah.
Gao Ridgeback Dredger. Essentially a deep explorer or a scavenger type, I think, and a fungoid.
Yes, definitely.
All right, I have figured it out. My name is Extract, and it's pronounced extract for people who can't speak in Knock, which there are lots of clicks and things that even don't come through with my human voice. I'm a Celicry. I am made out of centipedes, big pinchers, the orange head. I'm just a whole colony of them all over my entire body. I'm a sentient colony. I'm spitborn, which means I live on I was raised on like a big tree or a big rock that sticks up out of the great ironwood forests. And I am a hacker, which is not a cyberpunk clickety-clackety finger type of hacker, but a giant sword-wielding, cutting trees and vines back to clear a path for the party type of hacker.
That all sounds pretty much perfect. We probably should, just in case, explain what the game is. Because it's a very, thinking about it, it's a very non-standard setting.
Oh yeah, take it away, Felix.
Yeah, I was going to tell you to take it away, because here's the thing. I've explained the WildSea so many times in so many different ways. What I love hearing, not to put you on the spot, of course.
Oh no, you can put me on the spot anytime.
Okay,
I got
exactly. Put you on the spot then. Yeah, I've explained it so many times. What I love hearing is other people talk about it, because then they say things like, "Oh, it's definitely about this, this, and this," and I'm just like, "Oh yeah, I could say that in the future." So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll explain the world if you do not mind.
Go for it.
Yeah, so WildSea is a world that was like ours far in the future, after civilization and everything has been ground to dust, and through that dust has emerged this entire forest of iron bough trees, gigantic skyscraper-sized trees, whose boughs touch, whose leaves go across the horizon, and you can see forever, just green, green, green. And we are the people that live on the top of those trees and sail across their boughs and dive beneath them to find treasure of whether it be naturally grown or of the old world or crash ships. And that is the world of WildSea. And I'm so excited.
Yep, I'm going to clip that and save it for later. Thank you. That's perfect.
Yeah, and that's the press release. Thank you, Jahan.
If you ever need any more, I got you.
I'm excited that the ships are saw-driven ships, so you're riding blades across the top of these trees. And of course, there are things sticking up out of the forest and things to lure you down into the forest. And from what I understand, there are leviathans lurking deep beneath the trees in the dark. So that's just another exciting, terrifying thing to worry about all the time.
I do love a good leviathan. Oddly enough, talking about ships, we should probably make one.
That's right. So all of us were able to make our characters, but we were not able to make our team ship. But that's one of the cool things about this game, is that when you make the ship, it is a team ship. It's a team effort, and we all get point by to make sure the ship is customized to our crew's liking, and to make sure we're all represented, which is, super cool. That way it's not one person's vehicle, one person's cool car like in most games, but this is our ship, it's our character.
Yeah, it's very much it belongs to all of you, and it should service all of you in some way. It should feel like home for all of you too.
Yeah,
This is another one of our big draws whenever we first looked at this game. Jahan and I were like, let's make a ship. We can't wait to make a ship.
Yeah, we made characters once, and then we made ships together, and that was fun.
And then, when we played Dune, Modifius's Dune tabletop role-playing game, you design a house, and so that was really, we got the same vibe. Was like, okay, so now we get to build our house from scratch, but we were building ships before we were building a house.
Well, I am all for building a ship, and if we do it in turn, like one option each, in a kind of circle, that makes it go pretty quickly, and then you can fiddle around with a few bits for yourself personally at the end.
Absolutely.
So, okay. In that case, yeah. Do you all have the PDF open?
I do.
I'm scrolling quickly down to the ship section.
Same.
127 is the opening bit, which just points out the most important thing for ships, which is that stakes exist. Every person has a set number of stakes. You spend stakes on buying things for your ship, essentially. Stakes exist. Every person has a set number of stakes.
How did I
myself? Yeah. As a crew, you have 6 stakes that you share between you, and then each person individually has 3 stakes of their own. You can combine them all. You can spend the 6 together, and then the 3 just for stuff on your own, kind of that works for your character. Entirely up for you.
Excellent.
So, yeah, I'll keep a track of your ship. That makes things easy for today, I think, and quick. So as you make it, I will just write down the choices you make. Your ship has a set of 6 ratings that will be built up. Each one starts at 1. These are like your ship's stats. Armor, which, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. Seals, which keeps the WildSea out. You don't want things to get into your ship you don't want there. Speed, which determines your speed. Saws, how good you are at actually cutting through things. Stealth, which is something that a lot of people don't use, which is understandable. seeing as the ship generally runs on a giant chainsaw, but still, you never know. And tilt, which is how good you are going up and down, kind of rises and swells in the waves. As you make your choices, you will add things to those stats and get other bits for your ship as well. So let's go with choices. Who wants to make the first one? We'll start with size.
Go ahead, Gary.
I was gonna say small. I'm leaning towards small. We are a crew of 3 right now, and it gives us the +1 to speed, which I like.
Okay. Small sounds good.
Hell yeah.
And so a small ship gives you speed +1, which means your speed is automatically 2 to start with. Alright. Next one is frame, which is what your ship is built up and around.
Okay. Do you want to take that, Ty, or you want me to do it?
I can take it if you like. I'm just
ahead.
looking at the options. All right.
Lots of cool ones. It's sturdy, molded, light, scything, sleek, and flexible.
Yeah, Sulfugue is a sleek kind of stealthy guy, so I think sleek is what I like there.
Okay, sleek works for me. Small and sleek. Alright, stealth's bumped up to 2. Next choice is, he says, pretending he remembers these off the top of his head. Oh! It's been a long time, many iterations of this document. Yeah, hull comes next.
Hull, I guess that's me. I am tempted to go with reef iron, as I am a metal bender.
Work in your favor.
Yeah, I think I'll do reef iron.
That's another stake spent, and another 1 to your armor in this case. Okay. Next choice.
The bite.
So
is
this
all
one we're
Gary.
looking at the bites, which is the different saw choices. So I have saw prow, impellers, crawler, underscales, jag tracks, and sluice jets.
Oh, and they continue on to the next page as well. We have a lot of bites.
Look at this.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
The long jaw, the propeller cage, novapede limbs, navapede limbs, voltic runners, mulcher, and tentaculary?
Tentaculari.
Tentaculari, that's tentacles, isn't it?
Yeah, that's tentacles.
And then the other one is centipede legs.
Fucking next level. Man, I knew I was gonna do the sluice jets, but boy, these second page options really got me thinking.
Well, there is, because you also have personal stakes to spend, you can start spending your extra stakes as well if you want. You can have more than one method of propulsion. In fact, a lot of ships do.
I definitely want to go with the sluice jets because we have seals. We're going to need some seals. We don't have seals levels yet. And I'm always a big fan of acid damage.
That's fair. And also, that also goes with the whole your centipede thing. So, I know they don't do acid, but like,
my class does too. The actual cutter. They, besides using the blades, they also use acids to cut through the woods.
Most excellent.
Sluice jets, seals +1, and some massive CQ acid damage if you need it.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and yeah, you can make another choice from here. You can make another hull choice as well if you like. I mean, they're your stakes to spend.
There's the whole unique bites menu over there as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
But before we choose another possible one, I would say do the engine because it's the last required bit.
Yeah, let's.
And then everything else is up to you.
That's you, Ty. Choose our power source.
Right on. I was looking at sails, but I will go bigger.
Yeah. I was gonna say, the sails are propulsion also, huh?
Yeah, engines required. So let's see here.
Okay.
Sails are cool, but yeah.
Man, there's a lot to choose from.
There's so many cool things. They're all awesome too. They're all awesome.
I'll read them off real quick. Chemical compressor, spring work, parasite pitcher. I like that. Steam piping, rat wheel exchange, pulsing cocoon, jaw box, solar compressor, magnetic coils, ceramic batteries, and acid maw. I'm looking at Parasite picture. What do we got here?
Parasite picture.
You know,
That's really cool.
That looks like that's Sulfugue style. I think the Parasite picture. I just like the name of it.
Okay, Parasite picture gives you another one to stealth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fueled with organic material, preferably living.
Hey, plant for the week.
I already love our ship. How could you not?
Okay, so for this next bit, you have finished all the required bits of your ship. You could set sail now if you needed to, but you do have stakes left to spend. In fact, I believe you have, between the 3 of you and what you got left, you spent 5 out of your 6. So yeah, you got 1 group stake left to spend, and then your 3 individually each.
Excellent. So you got
So 10 in total.
and additions, huh? Oh, and rooms and armaments.
Yeah.
And outriders. Holy crap.
What I would suggest for speed is if 2 of you look through some of the fittings and find things that you like, and someone else chooses an extra thing from the kind of engines and bites and whatever, or hulls.
I've actually got my eyes on one in the sails that'll give us 2 extra speed, but only in favorable winds, which I think is a fun risk to take.
I also like that. All right.
The tethered kites, and so that'll cost me 2, and
Okay.
I have 1 stake left on me.
All right.
That costs 2.
Mm-hmm.
Use one of the. We have one last group one, so you can keep 2 for yourself.
I'm okay with that, unless somebody needs it, we can keep it
No,
floating
you're good.
for now.
You can have 2. That way everyone can pick something. Yeah, motifs. We can transport, hauling, hunting, salvaging. I'm going to say I want the salvage.
Oh, yes. Good call.
The salvaging one.
Yep. That was what I was looking at, too.
I'll spend 2 of my points. So I got one left.
Okay, salvaging motif. That gives you a lot of nice stuff, including a grappling crane.
Yeah.
So we might want to look at additions instead of more,
Yeah,
right?
additions could be really cool. Let's see. What do we got here? We got anchor systems, rig ropes, fire lanterns, luminous blooms, chemical spotlight. That's cool. Oh, a survival station. That could help. Cargo crane. Wrecker's magnet. I think I will spend my last one on... I don't know. I made it sound like I knew.
I think I'm going to spend one on survival station if it helps you choose.
There you go. Nice. Survival station. Our ship is already very, like, laden with, like, plants and energy. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to do the fruit tree.
Nice.
Okay, so another one for the survival station and one for the fruit tree.
And I'm out of points.
I've got 2 left.
You got 2 left. I think Gary has 2 left.
Yes.
Oh, and we haven't added any rooms. Maybe you guys should look at rooms.
Also, another thought to consider, there are train messengers and a fixed bound radio, both which are for communication if we should need it.
That's
For that.
And we also don't have any deck weapons.
Uh-huh.
Who wants to drop 2 for a harpoon turret?
They probably do. Oh, there's also a shrapnel cannon.
There's so many cool options.
Viper's Tooth. You know I love acid damage. We already talked about this. I'm spending my 2 on the Viper's Tooth, the unstable weapon that fires corrosive liquid.
Okay, I can go with that.
I have no control over myself when I see that acid damage is an option.
Which one is that? The Viper's Tooth?
Yes, sir.
Hell yes. Is it made from a Viper's Tooth? I hope so.
It's your ship, it could well be.
Alright, it's a giant, like, Leviathan thing that shoots juice.
All right. I think I'm going to go real practical here then and buy us 2 rooms because they're affordable.
Yeah, I believe you have 2 stakes left.
I do. So I'm thinking, and everyone weigh in here, the workshop
That's a good one.
and either the medical bay or the galley.
I think the galley.
Yeah, that's fine. If I need to heal anybody, I'll just work on you on decks.
The
Galley
worst part
and
about this is that
worship.
we're already out of stakes, and I want the lens room, and I want a lot of other stuff.
I want all the stuff, but yeah. No,
Well,
it's,
stakes are one of those things that you can earn while you play by trading in large cargo items and things and completing. I suppose quest is the old-fashioned way of saying it. Let's go with quest, completing quests and earning people's favor. So you can get more stakes. You can improve your ship throughout a campaign.
yeah, this game has a lot of rewards to offer your players, and that I feel like that's key. I've played games that like limit advancement, limited reward systems, and like it's like what are you gonna do? I don't know. I'm excited.
Can I ask a question about the game mechanics in that regard?
Yeah.
What is? I haven't had a chance to read everything.
Don't worry, nor have I, and I wrote it.
What is the leveling system like? What? How far do people go? How far can characters go? You know what?
Well, it's not something to worry about today for a one shot.
Sure.
But in a longer game, when you achieve certain things for your own character, by satisfying drives, or if you kind of do big momentous things in the world, or even small things that just mean something to you, you get milestones, minor or major. And then once you've got a few milestones, which are named on your character sheet, you literally write down what you managed to do that means something to you. You can kind of trade those in for advancement. So if you earn like a set number of milestones for things like climbing or motivation or moving around the world, you might be able to trade those in after a session or two for a new aspect or piece of gear or something, which lets you do more of that stuff. Basically, you get better in what you're already doing.
That's awesome.
And it means that if you want to spring for something else, you can start pushing yourself in that direction, even if it doesn't feel quite natural to you, and then soon it will become more natural. Your character will learn over time how to do more.
I like it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Simple but narrative is what we tried to do.
So yeah, our ship's all done.
Your ship is all done, except a name. You need a name.
It does need a name. What are you guys thinking?
We should go back on the things that we have on the ship, because I think that this is a disgusting, fast, spooky, slimy, stealthy thing.
It's a weird thing. It is it's small, sleek, made of reef iron that propels itself with sluice jets, which are acid, and powers itself with a parasitic pitcher plant. Yeah, and it has acid gun on it. And some flying kites. I don't know. It almost seems like a slug to me.
It is. It's half organic, but it's really fast.
Yeah, it's a metal slug.
That's a good name.
Metal slug.
I know it's a video game series.
A video game.
It's still a good name.
It's a great name.
I am entirely happy with the metal slug as a ship name, by the way. Just so you know.
The metal slug. I'm fine with it. You go with the tie.
Yeah, I mean, in my language, it's Galfmordum, but yeah. I agree.
Hell yeah.
All right, perfect. So your ship, the Metal Slug, is now ready to sail. That's good.
What is your language?
Actually, Gaudim would be my primary, I think.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, everybody speaks WildSea by default, which is the kind of common tongue of the world. It's, common sailor's tongue. Doesn't mean everyone will speak it. But yeah, other languages can be useful, although there is also contention over how useful other languages can be. It's been a running thing in the Discord.
I mean, if you're trying to min-max, what's the point of languages? But if you're
Right.
trying to live in the world and exist as a person, language has the same implications as it does in real life.
Yeah, it's there's been those constant questions of like, so do I have to roll to speak in the language? It's like, well, sometimes, but sometimes not. Sometimes to interpret, sometimes to get certain details across. It's a thing. There's pages about it in the full book. It's just yeah. We'll see how it goes. Actually, that's a good question though. What languages do you all speak other than WildSea?
I speak Chotic, Old Hand, and Rocket Spit.
Should we have 3 or 4? Because I have 4, and I.
You could have.
Oh
you
yeah,
could
yeah,
have
right.
10.
That's totally possible. Yeah.
Yep.
Gaudim, Chthonic, Brass Tongue, and Hyven.
So I speak Knock, Chthonic, and Signaling.
You have a wonderful mix of languages. I'm gonna have to remember that.
Yeah, like I mean, I had to take Old Hand. I love Old Hand so much.
Old Hand is the general favorite.
Do we all speak Chthonic also, just by
Yes.
chance?
We all speak the old human tongue. Yeah.
Well,
It's not the ancient human tongue, I don't think, but maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Isn't
say
it
yes
early?
or no.
Pre-Greek.
We're all like, "What's up, dude?
Hey, gnarly, bro.
Gnarly, welcome
Oh,
to the
no.
Metal Slug, bro."
Oh no!
Only West Coast English, American English survives. That's it.
Yeah, right. Whoa, so cool. Jahan, I need your character name real quick. I missed it the first time.
My character name is Waylon Ironmind.
Nice. Thank you.
I mean, I like him. And I always like playing like the wizard kind of character, and this has that feel.
Yeah, there's very little in the way of traditional magic, but there's a lot of weirdness on the WildSea. So I think Screw is getting pretty close to that kind of wizardy archetype, depending on how you play it. Okay, I am pretty much ready when you are.
Absolutely, I'm ready.
Ready.
Okay, I think we should start this off the way I start off most of the actual play games as well, which is with a quick round of unsetting questions, which is kind of like a collective thought exercise thing, but also populates the world around you. Because the WildSea is meant to be a no prep to extremely low prep game, so I'm happy to run with things that you give me. It's also how I just enjoy playing anyway, to be funny. So, yeah. So I'm going to ask you. There is a festival happening. It's a festival happening not in your home port, because maybe you come from different places. Wherever you've come from, you've ended up on this ship, the Metal Slug. But there's a festival in the port you're currently docked at. What are the features of this festival? If you could each give me one, that would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
It's a butterfly migration festival.
I love it.
I like it. Yeah.
It features a lot of regional and far-reaching organic plant displays. Perhaps part of the butterfly attraction.
I like that too.
Flowers and fruits and whatnot, and I'm gonna say there's a lot of music and a traditional butterfly dance.
I'm writing down traditional butterfly dance in capital letters, just so you know.
Mm-hmm. Some things just stick out, don't they?
That is perfect. And one more question. Something that's not going to affect the game itself, maybe, but might affect how I think about certain things. As your ship made its way to this as yet unnamed port and its Butterfly Festival, you must have overcome certain dangers, because the waves are full of dangers. The WildSea is an inherently dangerous place. I know some of you are almost completely new to the setting, but give me an idea, each of you, of a danger that you overcame. You don't need to necessarily tell me how you overcame it, just something that you ran into and managed to survive.
Yeah, I am. I'm a rootless, but even amongst the rootless, I was a bit of an outcast because of my powers, and I don't have full control over them. Sometimes I mess up magnetism fields and compasses and stuff, so I've been labeled a jinx.
Like it?
And so, yeah, being an outcast was, surviving that was my...
As a hacker and kind of the trailblazer who goes through the woods first and into these deep, dark places first, I've come across a lot of terrifying plants along the way. And one time, what I thought was a plant was a creature, and it grabbed me and pulled me too close. It wasn't a vine; it was a tentacle. Things got hairy. So that's when I learned you don't explore by yourself.
That's a good plan.
I'm an overconfident wave walker, and I tend to jump in first when people get in trouble. And at one point during the travels, I jumped in and nearly lost my bearing in the sea. And in fact, at one point, given my nature, considered my own self-sacrifice to overcome my error. But fortunately, we were able to recover and get back aboard.
That's perfect. Just helps me populate a little of the world in my mind. And with that, I think I am ready. Are we good?
I'm so ready.
Okay. So, you are at the port of Kaltaska's Spear. Kaltaska's Spear is an old kind of monument stone port. It is literally a spearhead, massive, miles long, poking straight up through the top of the canopy of the WildSea at an angle. It's been there since anyone can remember, and it's mostly overgrown, forested. Roots have kind of made their way down into the stone of this giant statuesque spearhead. There must be a body underneath it, hidden by the trees, some great ancient statuary, but no one's ever been down that far to find it. A few people say they have been down the shaft of the spear, just a little way, just into the tangle, below the kind of thrash, the topmost layer, but most people don't believe it. However, what Kaltaska's Spear does have is an annual butterfly migration festival. It is on the path of several intersecting migrations of butterflies. And the forests of Kaltaska's Spear that have grown up normal-sized trees, as opposed to the massive ones of the WildSea, they have been carefully shaped and pruned and made ready for these butterflies. There are hanging ropes and charms kind of festooning different branches of this forest. And although the butterflies are not quite here yet, there is still a few hours to go until the first of these kind of... What is a group butterfly called? A flock? A swarm? A cloud? A swarm. Let's give it a swarm.
Yeah, not a hive, right? Not a murder. No.
No, a murder. It's murder now. Before the first murder of butterflies arrives. Yeah, before the first murder of butterflies arrives, you've got a bit of time. And a lot of people who live in the kind of sea level port around Kaltaska's Spear, they are making these trees as ready as possible, wheeling into the avenues between these trees, wheeling kind of fruit carts and things. And it's almost festival time, but it's just on the cusp of being ready. And that's where you find yourselves. I'm going to ask you what you're doing in Kaltaska's Spear first.
Yeah, I was reluctant to get off the ship. I always am. I don't necessarily like being around a lot of people in a city, but eventually I was interested by the festival. I do like this festival. My tribe used to follow the butterflies to it every year. But yeah, I'm probably just looking around at like the food and the culture. I'm absorbing that. So I'm trying to take part, but I'm like shy.
I know a lot of different, the Selekrai have different control over their swarm ability. Some of them can pass off as other races, even by holding it together. I am not one such creature. When I move around, like globs of centipedes will fall off and crawl back to me, and they crawl around on my external, I dare call it my skin. They crawl around on the outside of my epidermis and all in and out. Every now and then you can see holes. And when I talk to you, mouths will open up at different parts of my body and talk to you, and they're not always where the mouth is supposed to be. I also don't particularly like leaving the ship and don't blend in well with a lot of different societies. But here I am, and here we are. It is a sight to behold here. It is very pretty, so at least there's that.
Yeah, actually, Eccentric, just as a quick aside, what is your kind of skin made of? What is your outer covering? You are a squirming, living mass of hive-minded centipedes, but something does keep you in a vaguely humanoid-ish shape, I guess. Is it like sackcloth or silk or old clothes or...
God.
It is probably, dare I say, it's probably an old carcass of a non-human creature. Maybe like a lizard folk or something from down below that's been repurposed.
Okay, fair enough. I will keep that in mind. In a horrible way, but I'll keep that in mind.
It's like a nightmare creature.
I'm a good guy, I promise.
Sulfugue is not especially attractive either. Bipedal, but a thick, somewhat membranous stalk. Both legs, torso, arms. You know, I'm adorned with my gear, but clearly made of this fungoid material. My head has a bit of a mushroom cap to the top, but the face is fairly plain, and my eyes just bulge out as I need them in different places and multiple, and they'll recede and come out. I'm not afraid to get off the ship. I like to skulk around and see what's there. A bit roguish, perhaps, and also looking for a variety of things. I like to collect things that I think might be useful, including medicinal items. Probably my one redeeming trait is that I'm willing to help the sick and heal the injured. But other than that, I'm looking for things that I might find interesting.
That is fair. And in fact, we'll focus in on that as a nice introduction to rolling. If you are the kind of person who might indeed help the injured, there are definitely injured here to help. Preparing the forests for the butterfly's arrival is not always the easiest task. Kaltaska's Spear is a reasonably nice port. Like, it's not completely kind of overrun with pirates and vagabonds. It's a nice enough place to live. But forests on the WildSea, even if they're not the actual sea itself, they're dangerous places. And there is at least one local hacker who has had some serious trouble cutting back a particularly thorny set of roots. The tree that these roots are kind of growing from should not have thorns. Something has happened. Something has always happened somewhere in these forests. And in this particular one, these roots have sprouted thorns and they are refusing to be cut back from a certain pathway. So you have possible puncture wounds to treat.
Finding out about that, I will try to attend, having learned about it.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing where word would pass back like, oh, yeah, Frank's got himself punctured again. Happens every year, that kind of thing. Like, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Frank, I am just arrived, and I'm wondering if you need some assistance for your injuries. I heard this is not an uncommon thing for you.
Yeah, Frank is a young Ardent. He's a hacker. He's covered in scars. This kind of thing is completely normal to him. But normal doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. So he's just like, yeah, assistance would be great. Actually, completely used to this. Don't worry about me if you have other things to do. That's fine, but help if you can. Help will be good. And you can see that there's just that little kind of hint of fear. Maybe he has been more punctured than he wants to let on.
Sure. I'll start by maybe examining the injuries and seeing what they tell me about the nature of this, the cause, perhaps, and also the degree of injury to the individual, to Frank.
Yeah. The injuries aren't terrible. They're not going to kill the guy, but they are going to leave some serious scars. The thorns from the roots of this nearby tree, they're still moving within the wounds where they've broken off. Just little, almost like grubs would move, I suppose. And if you look at the nearby tree as well, you can see the thorns that are still on the roots. They are shifting also.
Would I know anything about this particular plant?
That is entirely up to you and or the dice, depending on how you play it.
Yes. All right. I'm thinking that, I am a kind of plant myself, but, I am a scavenger by nature, so I tend to be in places where I see a lot of things. I'm not sure if I know the nature of this, and my concern, of course, is that Frank may be suffering some sort of infestation, and that's my first point of inquiry.
That is fair. Then, let's set up a roll for this. It's a good introduction to the rolling system, I think. The way you make a roll in the WildSea is you first choose an edge, which is kind of how you approach this problem. Which edges do you have access to?
Veils, teeth, and tides.
Okay. Any of those could work, and that is kind of the way the edge system works. For almost all situations, any edge can help you. Your edge gives you 1d6, and it's kind of taken as that kind of that inherent 1d6. This is how you make your basic roll. Tides is all about information, teeth is all about savagery, and veils is all about secrecy. Any one of those three could give you information on these things.
I think information. Tides is probably what I'm looking for here.
Okay. So once you've got your tides worked out, you need to choose, do you have any skills and or languages that might contribute to this roll? One die for every rank of them. You can only choose one though. So
Okay, I do have heal, 1 rank of heal. Frank, what languages do you speak naturally?
I know low sour and a little bit of Raka spit. Not much, to be honest. Never been much of a traveling type.
Very well, I won't be able to explain this any better than I can, but I am worried that you have a bit of potential hangers-on with regard to your wounds. So I am going to try to assess that and give you some comfort.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. Thank you.
he just kind of rolls over, hiding his wounds from the other people around him, who are still looking at him, just like, "Oh, Frank, again, come on, seriously."
So, as I understand it, that gives me 2 dice.
It does indeed. You can get a set of extra dice if you are in the right kind of conditions. So do you have an aspect that might help you out in your character sheet, or is there something in the environment that might help around you? This is very fluid, these last few dice added to the roll.
Okay. The only thing, and I don't know exactly what these do, I was in the process of looking them up again, but the only one off my list I think that might help me in this case is the Search Omens. I don't know if that's a useful one or not. Other than that, the environment seems to be sufficiently sophisticated enough. Perhaps I can get a die out of the access to what I need.
Yeah, that works entirely. These last dice, they are narrative and very free, essentially. If you can justify it to yourself and to the Firefly, GM, me, which I think you have, then you get them. The rolling system is inherently permissive. It's only when things start getting dangerous that cut enters play, which I'm sure we'll get at some point, and it will start going horribly wrong.
So does that give me a total of 3 or 4?
3.
Excellent. Okay. So now this is my pool.
It is indeed. And then you roll those 3d6 and you read off your result, which is the highest die, and also if you have any doubles of any number.
Okay. We got 6.
Okay, a 6 is a triumph. This is everything goes absolutely perfectly for you. Unexpectedly good. So, yeah, you are identifying whether this was like a serious, long-standing problem.
Yeah, is this an infestation? Are these things going to worm their way into his organs, or is it more like a localized injury that can be plucked out?
Yeah, you find out it's the latter. These things, if you left them there, they would worm their way inside. That is what they are designed to do somehow. But you can pluck them out, and not only can you pluck them out with a triumph, you can pluck them out and keep them for yourself.
Oh, excellent.
So, yeah, you've not healed him completely, but you've removed the immediate danger, and you now have a new resource, a specimen, in fact. I think, well, they're going to worm their thorns. Call them worm thorns. That works for me.
All right. How many, maybe? Do I need to know how many, or is it just a single item?
A single kind of cluster of them is yeah. We try to track individual numbers as much as possible with the WildSea. But yeah, while you have been doing that, there are 2 other people in your crew, one of which is a hacker as well, so may have input on this in general, on the tree side of things, rather than the poor injured Frank side of things. What have you 2 been doing?
I'm probably walking around the festival and nearby, and obviously with my horrific image, probably not too hard for you to find.
Yeah, I watched both of them go, and then I started wandering and just seeing what people were doing. And I pulled out, I have a, what's it called? Not a whisper, the other thing.
There are lots of other things.
Chart. I have a chart that is a curious compass. And I'm just looking at it with my magnetism field and its strange nature. It tends to go about, and I always get fascinated by it. And I'm probably just wandering around, looking, following it for no real reason.
Oh, that is absolutely perfect, in fact. And following your curious compass, you'd find that there are certain parts of this small kind of island where it does seem to go a little bit crazy. It is, after all, a curious compass.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it... Wait, where does it lead me? I'm sorry.
It doesn't lead you anywhere in particular. It's just as you're kind of wandering these avenues and groves, there are bits where it's pointing north, there are bits where it's definitely not pointing north, and there are bits where it doesn't quite know where to point. And if you go back and forth over certain spots, you can reliably make it swing wildly around.
Yeah, I'll do that until I like refocus on the world around me, and then I'll probably wonder how much time has passed and go find my crew.
That is fair.
As strange as they are, I do take great comfort in their company. We're all kind of outcasts.
Yeah, someone has to.
We have heard that there are tales of an unpassable place.
There are always tales of impassable places. Who are you addressing with this?
As soon as I'm sorry, Ty, I've forgotten your character's name because it's a one-shot.
Soulfugue.
Soulfugue.
I love the rules of one-shots.
When you come out, I'll approach you and meet you, and as you're likely coming to tell me the same news. I've heard the news about town of this impassable tree, and which is obviously a challenge for a hacker like me.
I can show you where it is. It's not far from where we are standing.
Yes, Fee, show us the way. We will make quick work of the tree.
But be careful because the thorns will worm their way inside of your flesh and into your guts, and then I'll have to dig them out. Which is fine if you don't mind. Come with me. And by the way, I leave a spore trail when I walk.
all the best gal do, don't worry.
We're just really easy to find. There's just a spore trail and like globs of millipedes leading through town.
Yeah.
The most disgusting Hansel and Gretel.
But we don't get lost.
I'll be wandering around, kind of lost, and I'll like trip backwards, and I'll land in front of my colleagues here.
That is fair. As long as you don't land on the spiky, thorny root tree. Yeah, but yes, you end up, the three of you, gathered around this tree, and the poor, slightly whimpering form of Frank. Frank gestures broadly to this tree and says, "This one's it's always been a hassle, and every year it's a little bit different, and we keep thinking we should rip it out, but we never quite do because it's a tree, it's a normal tree, and you got to keep those protected. Plus, the butterflies seem to love it, so
It's a conundrum.
No, it's a tree."
Oh, well, that as well, yes.
Frank is not the fastest knife in the drawer. That's not how that phrase goes. Then again, Frank wouldn't know either, so who knows? But Frank does tell you a little about this tree and the history of it, which is essentially that it's a bastard tree. Like every year for this festival, something goes wrong with this tree. Either the leaves are just falling and won't stop, but they keep regrowing too fast. The roots themselves have become spiky, as has happened this year. The bark just catches fire. Like, there's just something wrong inherently with this tree.
And why don't you remove this tree?
It's just for the butterflies. I mean, who knows? This tree could be the very reason the butterflies come here. While the passers-by from the village goes, it is not.
Well, it seems like it's more trouble than it's worth, huh?
I mean, lots of things are more trouble than they're worth, but you'd still do them because that's tradition, isn't it? I mean, you've got to... I'm more trouble than I'm worth for a lot of people here, but they keep me around.
Speaking of worth, what would it be worth if we could solve the problem?
I could give you a surprisingly large quantity of spiky roots.
Who else can we talk to about this problem?
Someone who's more important than me.
Good suggestion.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, though. Frank will gather up his tools, which, as another hacker, you would realize they are not great hacker's tools. Like, he may be the best that this little kind of town community has to offer, but he's no expert. Blunted saws and things, it's not great. But he gathers up his tools and starts heading back down to the kind of seaside port. If you do want to deal with this tree, pro bono, you can. If you want to arrange some kind of fee for dealing with this tree, you could head down there too. Now you know where it is. You can always get back here easily. But your time is running out. Butterflies are on their way. And with the tree still here, the festival will continue. But you know, there's always going to be children that fall into it and people that trip over it. And it's going to be a hassle. So I'm going to start a track. A civil track. It is hidden but not secret, which means you know the track exists, you know its name, but you don't know how many boxes are on it. And I'm going to start filling it. And this track is called Time Until the Festival. As you do things, I will mark this track. When it is fully marked, the festival will begin, whether you are ready or not.
Excellent. So as I'm looking at this tree for the first time and hearing about these problems, so the problem, is it the tree itself or the worms? Are those a separate issue, or?
The problem is the tree itself.
Okay.
Every year, or sometimes throughout the year, from what people have said, this tree just changes, and never changes in a good way. I mean, the WildSea is a place of almost eternal change. Creserin, the chemical that fuels the titanic growth of WildSea trees, is less pronounced on a kind of stone outcropping like Kaltaska's spear, but it still drives things to change and mutate and just become what they shouldn't quite be. And this tree perhaps has a more than healthy dose of Creserin. Perhaps there's something else weird and unusual about it. The locals don't know. But every year, this tree is different in bad ways.
Perhaps we find the problem at the root.
The spiky root.
Waylon, I have a question.
Yes.
Should one of us go and find the leader of the town, the mayor person, and see if we can get paid for doing something about this while Extract goes to look at the root of the problem?
I don't see much point to it. I want to help these people anyways. I do have a drive that is to help Ardents.
This is exactly what I was thinking. Maybe we should get paid. Why work for free?
I agree.
I don't know, sometimes people just need help.
I have heard you say
I
this
sympathize with
before.
both viewpoints, yeah.
Maybe we can at least get some supplies for when we leave here in our ship and help the people as well.
Hey, if that's what you want to do, I trust your judgment in these matters.
I will go talk to the mayor, and you can help Extract if you want to. And then I'll come find you and tell you all about it.
Absolutely. I guess I'll start trying to suss the problem out.
Okay.
I do have a bit. I have tend, so I do know about plants somewhat. I also have sense.
Both could be useful. Or either could be useful, I suppose. In fact, if you are splitting the party, then this would be a good time for a set of tasks, I believe. A montage. Montage is exactly what it sounds like. It lets you get a few things done in a short amount of time that might otherwise take a long time and keep people apart. So, in a montage, each person chooses one task to do, something that you want to achieve. And then at the end of the montage, you are all together again, and the game can continue. So,
I like that a lot.
yeah, montage is well, I shouldn't praise my own system. That's
No, you should.
montages are great, says the guy that made it.
Montages are great.
They're hardly a new concept. Like it's been done in loads of other games, and I've always enjoyed them in other systems. It's exactly why they're in the WildSea.
But you have beautiful children. It's okay.
Yeah, so doing a montage, it sounds like a good way to go. What is each of you doing? You can choose one task each. Tasks, there are a few prescribed ones, like, healing from injuries, etc., but most tasks are entirely freeform. They might require a roll, they might require an expenditure of a resource of some kind, they might require neither.
I would like to use, and maybe I have to mark this off my track, but I'd like to use one of my defoliant acid grenades during this to try to get through the spiky, touchy, feely vines.
Okay, tell me about your defoliant acid grenades, and we'll work out what you do.
First, I'm going to let Jahan's character go and investigate and do what he needs to do, but as soon as he's clear of it, because I don't want to ruin his investigation or blast him with acid, that's when I'll be facing away from the vines, talking to his character, and then an extra arm will come out of my side, made out of millipede or centipedes. It'll come out of my side holding this glowing green vial, and my head will turn around 180 degrees as all the worms shift. And then you realize that my arms and body just sort of shift to face the other way as my legs bend around. And I throw this glowing green orb at this tree, and it starts to sizzle. As the green hits it, a purple kind of iridescence flows across the green, and purple and green fumes come up from the tree.
Okay, that sounds like a perfect montage ender, I think. So, yes, we will come back to that. I may ask you to roll for it. I'll definitely ask you to roll for it. But other two tasks, what are we doing?
I will try to understand the nature of this tree and what's wrong. People need to learn to live with these trees and nature, especially in the WildSea world. So I have a sense of 2. I have tides, and I have
Anything else
wild.
that can help you? Oh, yes.
I have wild words as a aspect.
One of my favorite aspects.
I love it. It's so useful. And so yeah, I'll use those. How many dice is that? That's
1 for the edge, 1 for each rank of the skill you are using, and 1 for having a relevant aspect.
so 4. Okay. I got my nice metal dice for my metal bending character.
I will ask you to roll that in a second, but first of all, let's have our mayor.
Yes. I am simply trying to arrange some compensation for our next trip for helping them with their tree trouble.
You find the leader of Kaltaska's Spear. Mayor isn't quite the right word. Overseer may be a better one. They are an ironbound, a kind of animated collection of ship stuff. This guy is in the region of 10, 11 feet tall, and most of their body is taken up by a massive cage full of butterflies. These are dormant, resting, this murder of butterflies within this living cage. And instead of speaking with any kind of voice, every now and then, when you speak to this kind of town leader overseer type, they will tap the cage and the butterflies will fold and refold their wings to make certain patterns. If you can read knock or signaling, you might be able to understand them. If not, there will be interpreters on hand just in case.
I will say, first of all, I'm only about half as tall as them. Mm-hmm. Also, as a scavenger, I want to own them, but I keep that to myself. And I don't understand what they're saying. I'm like, don't understand what's being. I have to look at the interpreter.
Yeah, that is fine. There will be a kind of a younger, much smaller, ardent interpreter there. Ardent. Oh yeah, just general thing. I will say ardent repeatedly. Ardent are the kind of humans of the WildSea. They are stronger and tougher and faster and more weathered than we think of humans as being. They're the descendants of survivors of the great kind of coming of the forest 300 years or so ago. But they are, in other respects, human. But yeah, there will be an ardent interpreter there for you. Who will say, the overseer wants to know what kind of compensation you want. That tree has been a bit of a hassle, but he also wants you not to remove it, just to make it better, if that makes sense.
Then we need to speak quickly.
Okay, what do you need? What would be useful for you? You came on a ship, some kind of big metal slug, or maybe that was the name. What do you need? What can we give you?
Organic material for fuel and some foodstuffs for our travels to keep us sustainated.
Okay, foodstuffs we can do, and organic materials. I mean, we're going to be covered in butterflies and he kind of checks an absent space where a watch might be, and as he does so, I will mark a box on the time until the festival track. We'll have covered in butterflies soon, and you could take as many of those as you can. I mean, we're not going to miss them. I mean, there are always going to be more, I think. By the way, don't tell him, and he points to the overseer, that I said that bit. That wasn't what he said to say. He said no. But, no one's going to miss them.
Yeah, so food. We can do food. What kind of food do you eat? And he looks you up and down. Gal, not particularly common here.
Yes, rotting food, offal, any sort of waste, but I'm not the only one to eat. So, also some fruits and, I mean, not rotten fruits. I'll take those, but not all of them should be rotten.
Okay,
And vegetables and some food for our ardent and some. What does extract eat? Oh yeah, the same thing as I do. I think that's fine.
Okay, so food, rotten and non-rotten. The interpreter kind of signs back to the overseer, who flashes another beautiful kind of coruscating butterfly pattern at him and then says, "He says great."
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I will join my companions to make sure we don't completely remove the tree. I'll be right back.
Okay. I assume you leave probably slightly faster than you went down. Yeah, so as you're heading back up, let's hit the second part of the task. You were going to discover something about this tree before it gets acidified.
Yes.
Ooh.
I was going to try at least. And so I'm going to use my sense and my, tides and see if I know any folklore about this to get some. My highest is 5. I got double
That is
fives.
conflict. Oh, conflict with a twist. Okay. So the 5 gives you a conflict, which is something good and something bad. This is not only decided by me as the GM, this is decided partly by me and partly as a group thing. Same with the twist, which is a double. A twist is an unexpected narrative happening. Could be good, could be bad. But unless something really pressing is there, I don't supply the twist. I open it up to the table. The WildSea in general does spread some of that GM love around the place. Everyone gets to have their own little bits. So conflict-wise, tell me specifically one thing you were trying to find out.
Trying to find out the source of this corrupting force.
Okay. You managed to find that out, but the negative side of this conflict is you find out something you'd rather probably not know. This tree's roots have spread down further into the rock than you might expect. The stone that makes up the spearhead of Kaltaska's spear is not stone all the way down. There must be some solid core of something in there, something which is wrong. Just wrong enough that when this tree's roots touched it, it kept changing them. And as these roots have wound around this thing, whatever is deeper down into the stone of this giant spearhead, this tree has changed in kind over the years. So yeah, you found out the cause, but you've also found out that this is not the nicest cause, and if it's right under this, and it might run further through the spearhead, which means for this particular settlement, in future years, this may be a bigger and bigger problem for them, spreading through the entire forest. Not that you'd want to be a doomsayer, of course, but... twist-wise, I will open up to the table. Is there any unexpected good or bad thing, small thing but useful thing usually, that might come as a result of this investigation? I can give examples if you like, but I am happy for you to take a stab at it.
It could be that now we have to maybe remove the tree before it becomes the issue you were describing. Maybe it needs to be uprooted.
I had a Shang-Chi inspiration moment where once we remove it, we release the dark energy into the forest.
That would also be a perfect twist.
Oh, I like that one better.
Okay, then we'll go with that one. If
Ty,
you do
I
remove
saw
this
Ty,
tree...
did you have one, Ty?
No, actually, what John was thinking initially was my thought, kind of from the beginning of this whole, like, there's going to be a twist issue here, but, and they work together, both those ideas. I'm just trying to hurry down there to talk to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, twist is very much like a, if you have an idea, leap in. It's one of those, one of the reasons we spread the GM-ness around for that is because for a no-prep/low prep game, it spreads the creativity around the table, which is always nice. It gives people a chance to say, hey, this would be cool if this happened, and the GM just go, yeah, okay, that sounds good.
So
One of our trademarks on our channel in general is we just have a lot of player GM interaction where, as long as what you're doing is within the bounds of the story and what is probably believable, you can take some liberties. Just don't go crazy. And of course, GM has final say. You can't take too many liberties. But yeah, it is a group storytelling adventure, so I love these types of added in flair.
Yeah, I like systematizing that kind of stuff where I can. Not too much, but enough. So
I'm already happy that we're at a butterfly festival. I can't stop seeing colored butterflies flickering around in the background the whole time.
Yeah, and on the mention of Butterfly Festival, I'm just going to mark another track again here in the background. Time until festival. It's getting closer. So, yeah, as your twist, removing this tree, if you do end up having to remove it, which of course you've been asked not to, it will release something or have a negative effect, probably, on the rest of the forest here on the Katasku Sphere. But yeah, with that done, I believe we have one more roll to finish this task.
Yes, I think I have to do a sort of... I have hack, which I think this is going to be a hack type of situation. And I'm using the defoliant acid grenade. And so I'll mark one on the track there.
Do you have to mark one on the track? This is an important point. What is the wording of your defoliant grenades?
Oh, let's see. Let me find the actual wording in your book. Explosive packets that burst when lobbed with force deals LR acid or salt damage.
Okay. You do not need to mark it to use it.
Perfect.
There are some situations where it might take like lots of damage, or you might use it in an excessive amount where marking it is there. But unless the wording specifically tells you mark this thing to do X, you just have it as a resource that never runs out, really.
I quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
All right.
It's one of the powers of aspects is that they are there to be used. They are what makes your character your character. They're things that you rely on.
So I have hack also, but only at a level 1. So what would you like me to roll, sir?
Choose an edge. Hack sounds good. That's 1d6. Having that aspect, another 1d6. And yeah, I will add a cut for this. What edge are you going with first?
Edge, I am looking at... I have teeth, instincts, and sharps. Let me go with sharps. I want to use a little bit of knowledge when I'm doing this. I'm just trying to cut what we need to get by.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, you are going to try and do this in a smart way with sharps. Not a massive wave of acid destruction, as fun as that would be. But in doing that, you are going to have to cut. Cutting, as a mechanical concept, is where, when you roll, you remove the highest die. It just means that things get much, much harder very quickly. Things are more likely to go wrong. And you cut when you are in more difficult situations, or when you're trying to do something, especially with more precision, which I guess is what you are trying to do. So yeah, roll your 3d6 and cut the highest result before you read them off.
So I rolled a 4, 3, and a 3, so the 3 and the 3.
Okay, that is a disaster with a twist. My second favorite result. My favorite, of course, being conflict with a twist.
Disaster with a twist was actually my nickname in high school.
A disaster. A disaster in the WildSea is not simply a failure. A failure would just be like, hey, something doesn't work. That's not how disasters go. Every roll moves the game forward, and this is going to move things forward in a horrible way. The way you describe this happening...
I don't mean to cut you off, but I think this is actually a really great time. We like to take a 5 to 7 minute break.
Oh, yeah, you go for it.
I just rolled a disaster. So I think it might be great
it's a nice cliffhanger,
yeah, a cliffhanger. If you wanna just set the scene for how terrible this might go, and then we'll leave everybody on the edge of their seats until we come back.
Yeah, I will happily set that scene. This is as the three of you meet up again. You are around this tree, and you described kind of talking to your companions and then turning or fluidly shifting to face the other way and lobbing this thing. You're not going to miss. You're close enough to hit this target. And you're not going to fail. This thing is made of acid. It's going to eat straight through these roots. It's what it continues eating through that is the problem.
And that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We're going to take our little break, and we've been fresh out the box, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to Fresh Out of the Box Plays WildSea from Felix Isaacs, and I am Johananon playing Waylon, the ardent metal bender, as it were.
I am the co-host Casualty CDG, and since it's WildSea, I'm playing a little bit of an out there character. I'm a Celicry, which means I'm a sentient species of centipedes. I could be basically anything I want. Spiders, any spooky centipedes.
My name is Extractor Sticky.
Pronounced extract in the regular human tongue.
And I am Dungeon Mr. Ty, playing Soulfugue, the party fungi. Now, literally, I am the party fungus man, and a scavenger, and a bit of a sneak.
And I'm Felix Isaacs. I made the game, and I'm running it.
Huzzah!
Also, thank you, Grim Knight, for the gifted subscription. We always appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, are we ready?
For the entire place to collapse into the WildSea? Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, it's a disaster. It's not that bad. It's totally that bad. So what happens is, I'll leave the twist up to you to define in a sec. But the real kind of thrust of this disaster is that you manage to clear away these roots, and the tree stays miraculously pretty much okay. Like, it sags a little bit with most of these roots gone, and it might die in the coming days, but you'll be long gone by the time that happens. The problem is, as that acid continues to burn down those roots, this smell fills the air. You can almost see it, a kind of bronzy vapor rising from this hole in the stone where the roots were. And you can smell distinctly something coppery, something wrong, something metal, and you can hear a sizzling that is far more than that acid should sizzle. And then the ground starts to crack beneath you, not collapse, just crack, as if some great foundation is being eroded away. Because some great foundation is being eroded away. Kaltaska's spear, this entire settlement, is based on a statue, but this statue has some kind of metal inside it that gives it that extra bit of structural capacity to stand up against the waves of wood around you. That is being eaten away incredibly quickly. Some kind of chemical reaction based on this acid is just taking down the insides of this place, and you can see the cracks spiderweb out, heading down towards the port, and then there's this great wrenching noise from deep beneath the waves, maybe half a mile off. And something comes to the surface, some bit of stonework sizzling and smoking and spitting, and you have raised a new island.
Nice.
I look at the other two and say,
I believe I have solved the problem.
I'll be staring kind of slack-jawed, like, oh god. You said, is anything about to fall? It's like...
Luckily for you, no. Like, this place, it's less structurally stable than it was, but it's still a great honking chunk of stone.
Good.
Like, it's you haven't doomed these people to a kind of leafy grave. You're okay. But this new island that's risen up, it looks to be part of the statue that was further below the waves, that's just now broken off and been kind of pushed up to the surface by the press of branches and leaves around it. And we have a twist. So if someone would like to tell me something small and unexpected that has happened because of this grand disaster you've caused.
Well, ironically, there is a species of butterfly-eating lizard that has risen to the surface on this island that was not expected from so far down below.
I love it. I'm totally here for that. Does that work for SB as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Then yes. I was going to say that I'm going to mark the last box on time until the festival, and I think this is the perfect time to do it, because the first murder of butterflies swoops its way in, and then as they pass over this new island, you see tiny flying lizards leap into the air from this place, just snapping butterfly after butterfly, and the murder becomes a single killing, and then the killing becomes a minor homicide, and then it's just GBH after that point. And yeah, you've drastically reduced the number of butterflies heading towards this festival, which for a butterfly festival is probably going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You can hear shouts and screams of panic from the port down below you outside the forest.
It would appear we arrived right in time for the Lizard Migration Festival.
This may be a new thing.
I'll look at him and I'll look at what's going on and I'll be like, I don't think there's any way they could logically draw us to that.
It may be time for us to slip away.
I hope it's not. They don't make the correlation.
Well, the good news is we did not remove the tree. We did not remove the tree.
Yeah, it is exactly this point that you see Frank further down the path pointing at you going, they definitely did that. They definitely did that.
I'll remember people earlier. I'll be like, whatever you say, Frank, like he's crazy.
People are taking notice of him, but no one is rushing to kind of... They've got bigger things to worry about than the precise cause of this right now, like making sure that their island doesn't fall apart, because, well, it is structurally unsound now. They don't know that it's not going to instantly fall. In fact, they're terrified.
Rules of the WildSea denote if we are the first ones to that island, it belongs to us.
You know, this reminds me of something that I have been striving to do, and it's not as big a mountain as I was hoping for, but I would like to claim that mountaintop for myself.
All of those things are entirely true. Literally. If you make your way to that island, it is sort of technically yours. Yeah.
Well, I guess we better hurry then, my friends.
Let's go. Let's go. I don't think we're going to get paid for this anyway.
I will take my payment in land.
I don't think we should
will
get paid
take
for
our
this.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about that is you kind of already have. There is a large stack of crates on the deck of your ship as you make your way down to the metal slug. They have paid you for tree removal. They assumed you would do it. You look like competent sorts. They didn't expect any of this to happen, of course. Most of it is rotten fruit, but hey, rotten fruit is better than no fruit.
I will feel immensely guilty.
That's
no,
fair.
Waylon. They said don't remove the tree. Just solve the problem. We have solved the problem, and we have gotten paid.
We've traded the problem. But I'm gonna give an honest appraisal. So you said it's not gonna fall into the sea.
Yeah.
I have this desperate urge to help these people because they look so scared. Is there anything I can do? Can I? Because you said there's metal in here. Can I help with my pre-V ingot to kind of, it's for massive amounts of metal. Can I kind of like fix a little bit?
You could try and reinforce the basic structure of Kaltaska's spear, yeah. But it's going to be hard because this is a large amount of metal that's just sizzled away into nothingness.
Man, I hope I don't crack it in half. Whatever, I'm gonna try. Best intentions, road to hell and whatnot. I'm gonna look at my friends. I'm gonna be like, look, I have to do something. I'll be right back. And I'm gonna step onto the rocks, and I'm going to my earrings. I have like a lot of piercings. They're gonna start jangling as I summon this magnetic force, and then this cog that I wear under my clothes will come up, and I'll summon the power of magnetism.
Yeah, you are a screw. That is entirely your thing. But what are you going to do with this power of magnetism? Because the problem they're facing is that the big kind of solid metal core of the statue is now a nothing. It's just an empty space. You can. I'm not saying you can't reinforce it. You definitely could. It's how you're going to reinforce it that's the problem.
How am I going to reinforce it? I will attempt to create a magnetic center in the core of this thing to make the metal that's not in the middle want to go there and sort of hopefully hold the stone together.
I like it.
And erase everybody's hard drives.
Yes. Yeah, I like it, but it's a big job. So tell me how you're going to do it in terms of the rules.
Yeah, I'm not denying that it's a big job. I'm gonna try that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess
I'm definitely going to ask you to roll.
Yeah, I feel like instinct. Sense could work, but I feel like brace might be what I'm trying to do here.
Brace sounds really good, actually.
All right, I'll use those two, and then I will use my pre-V ingot.
Okay.
So
is that a resource or an aspect?
It's an aspect.
Okay, what does it do?
It's a gear worn and simple decoration, but holds incredible magnetic potential. Burn to briefly move a massive amount of metal up to the size of a ship.
Okay, yeah, that is perfect. Burn is like mark, but it never goes away. Or it can go away, but it takes time and effort. So unlike the last time we used an aspect and we didn't have to mark off one of the boxes, this time you'll have to put a cross through one of your boxes. The burning is saying like you are doing something serious with this thing. Yeah. So yeah, put a cross through one of those boxes and you can indeed move a large, almost ship-sized amount of metal. Now, where are you going to get a ship-sized amount of metal? You're just going to draw it from the bits that remained after this acid kind of worked its way through?
We're trying to pull the trace, the natural ore in the foundation together.
Okay. Then yeah, roll for it.
What is that, 3 dice?
It is, but I'm going to give you a cut of 2.
Ooh. So
you remove the 2 highest results. Oh, no, you still roll 3 dice, but you remove the 2 highest results.
Gotcha. That sucks.
Which means if you can get extra dice from anywhere, now is a good time to try. What can you have around you? Yes. Oh, yeah, go for it.
I have a craft skill. Is it possible to help?
You can help, and that can give an extra 1 die of advantage if you have things that are useful to help. But it also means that if there are any negative effects from this roll, they hit you just as hard as they hit him.
Nice.
I mean, why not? If craft is something that I can use, which is when I'm looking at my skill list, I've got.
You wouldn't get the full benefit of whatever the skill is, but you knowing how to do that means that you can help with this action.
All right.
I also have a chunk of iron ore. Can I throw that to help add to the situation going on?
If you weren't being helped, maybe yes. But helping and extra aspects and resources, they all count as advantages. And you can only get 2d6 maximum for your advantages.
Okay. So I have 4 then now.
Yep, 4d6, roll them, and then cut the 2 highest results.
Okay. So I got double 4s, then double 3s,
So a disaster with a twist. Okay, well...
There's a reason why I don't hang out with people.
That's fair. You know how I said that this thing wasn't going to collapse?
Yeah.
This thing collapses.
Oh no!
Kaltaska's spear has kind of been sitting, the spear point has been sitting at a roughly kind of, 30-degree angle, and everything built up around it, the trees, the buildings, everything is growing upwards from this 30-degree angle spear. It just collapses. It just falls. It's a big fall. It's cushioned by the wave tops around it, but there is a moment of serious confusion and then screaming and shouting and panic, and then the entire civilization that you are standing on shifts by 30 degrees.
It appears we arrived just in time for the Apocalypse Festival.
Yes, you did. And you've caused a fantastic micro-apocalypse. I'm really impressed. On the plus side, you did manage to reinforce the spear point. The metal that you've drawn in is now meaning that the spear is not going to fall apart itself. The spear head that the entire civilization's built on, this giant stone spearhead, has just fallen free of the spear shaft. So you've kind of broken them free of the statue that was holding them up. But, they're upright. Everything, of course, is now slanted sideways. Trees, buildings, jetties. And the jetties, in fact, have just smashed into your own ship. So as another component of this disaster, I would like you to take some damage to your ship. Let's say 2 points of damage to any one of your ratings. Your ratings currently, armor is 2, seals is 2, speed is 2 or 4 in favorable winds. Source is 1, stealth is 3, and tilt is 1. So yeah, take 2 points of damage to any one of those.
You can't split it up.
Oh,
We can't split it.
no, you cannot split
Nice.
Sales.
Sails? Okay. We damage our sails. That's fine.
it. Okay, so your speed is now 2, and also 2 in favorable winds, because your beautiful sail has just been smashed to pieces by a jetty impacting with it. Doesn't mean it's not fixable. It's definitely fixable, but yeah.
I did it, guys.
It is a shame what happened to our sail. But if you turn your head sideways, this civilization does not look so bad.
That's true. Frank from down the path picks himself up from a kind of shrub that he's nearby and just says, "That was really impressive. Thanks."
We cleared the defiance for you, Frank.
I look crestfallen, and I'm just like, oh no, not I in my mind I'm like, not again, and I just get on the boat.
Yes, you can. But we also have a twist to work out. So that it does mean that something good can come from this. What small narrative thing? Yes.
I think I have a good twist on this one. Just remind what Jahan said just then, not again, kind of what he was thinking. I would like, at this point, our reputation precedes us. This is not the first time we have caused a disaster where we go, and people are now recognizing our slug ship and the description of these 3 horrifying travelers that seem to just befall bad luck wherever they go. We're sort of the anti-celebrities of the WildSea.
It's better than what I was gonna say. I was gonna say they like it better this way. That's the twist. They're like, oh yeah, not so bad. Yeah.
Oh, he's right. If you turn your head, it does look okay.
It does look good, yeah. In that case, yeah, I'm just going to write down...
Great for the cabs.
people know you.
Yeah, it's
For
almost
better or
like a Captain Jack Sparrow type of thing. It's not good that people know who he is when he shows up. And when they figure out who he is, things always get worse. But he can get around for a little while before everything gets blown to shit.
You are, without a doubt, the worst civilization helpers I've ever seen.
I was going to ask,
I've heard of you. Yeah.
Has anyone ever knocked your city from the ground, from the air on their first try?
That is a very good point. As you make your way down to your ship, you see the overseer of this small community. Because they don't make a noise, because they communicate with the butterflies in their chest cage, you wouldn't be able to know that they were shouting.
I do speak their language.
Yeah, you wouldn't know that they were shouting, but the gestures and the amount of butterfly flapping really helps. And because you do speak signaling, which they're doing, or not, because of both work, you know that there are a lot of words in there that even if you wanted to translate, the curses are so long it would just take too long to do it.
They are displeased with the results.
Yeah.
Left the tree.
I'm gonna walk past him and be like, sorry, and then just very, very solemn, like, I'm sorry.
What's the chance that when the city tilted that it moved away from the lizard island, so the butterflies are now not flying over the lizards?
I'm going to say, with a disaster, the chance is exactly 0%.
Nice. If anything, it's easier for them to eat the butterflies.
They're jumping on. They're jumping on.
Now this island has lizards.
Yeah, the spear tip is now lower, so the butterflies are coming in lower, and more of those tiny lizards are just leaping up, and yeah.
We'll highlight this point by a lizard showing up under my feet and eating one of the butterflies out of his cage. And I'm like, oh.
I'm going to try and snatch one and eat it, too.
I don't... Okay.
Curious.
I mean, to be fair, if you are happy with lizards now infesting this place as they move towards this new explosion of butterflies and shrapnel and death, then yeah, you can snatch a lizard. I won't even make you roll.
A butterfly? Actually, I want to snatch a butterfly.
Oh, okay.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. And yeah, you can smash a butterfly, no problem. But yes, you have successfully failed. And whatever you choose to do about it, it's probably going to happen on that island over there. So, as you're making your way down to your ship,
I guess.
For just a brief moment, that island was ours. Now that we have destroyed their civilization, I bet they expect it in return.
Oh, we have to go check it out first, don't we?
Not
I'll look
if
at
we
my
don't-
companions. I'll be like, look, I'm so sorry. And I'm gonna go to the front of the ship and just wait for them to take off. I'm just gonna think about what I did.
I'm gonna walk past the rotten fruit crate and stick my slimy centipede hand in, and a pomegranate gets pulled up into my arm, and then gets shot out of my mouth as a core over the side. The seeds all spit out.
that is beautiful.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna stand in the crate.
In the crate?
Well, yeah, because it's delicious.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, the slight aside, so many groups have focused on how the different bloodlines eat in various ways, because a lot of them don't have mouths in a traditional sense.
No.
So, yeah, it's always fun. It's nice to see it crop up again here. But yeah, you are on your ship, which means I believe it's time to start a short journey. Journeys are the third mode of play for the WildSea, outside of scenes and montages. A journey is kind of like a mix between a scene and a montage. I will make you track a simple progress track because this is a short journey. It doesn't have to be long at all. I'm going to make it, let's say, a 3-track, completely open, so you know how far you have to go. We'll use the simple journey rules because this is a one-shot. We don't want to spend too much time on the scene, which means that as you get ready, you need to choose 2 things. One person needs to be at the helm of your ship, and one person needs to be on watch.
I watch.
As the person on watch, you roll to see what you encounter in your short jaunt across the waves towards this new island. And the person at the helm decides how fast the ship goes. There are 3 speeds: dropping anchor, which gets you nowhere but can be quite useful; cutting a path, which means that with every leg you travel, I mark 1 box. You are 1 box closer to your destination. And forging ahead, which means I mark 2 boxes. You go faster, but if something bad happens encounter-wise, you plunge straight into the middle of it.
I think we're gonna forge ahead.
Okay, forge ahead sounds good to me. So, before we roll for the watch, tell me how your ship leaves port, because this is the first time we're going to see your ship, the Metal Slug. So yeah, tell me the mechanics of how it actually leaves. How does it work? Tell me about this ship and how it hits the leaves and makes headway.
Yeah, it does the juice thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's is it acidic?
I would say probably yes.
Okay.
It can be used as an acid weapon, but it doesn't have to be used as an acid weapon.
So I think we just kind of like a little bit of juice just kind of comes out. We slide across stuff until we have to make a jump, and then it goes, psst, I feel like that's just that feels right.
Yeah, I think instead of our ship having a rocking sense in the traditional water, it has more of a lurch forward, like squish forward, squish back, squish forward, squish back. And so getting your sea legs on our ship is kind of getting used to that lurch and stop motion, knowing when to move.
That does make a lot of sense. Okay, in that case, now we know how you're moving, which is stoppy and starty and lurchy. Let's have a watch roll. For a watch roll, you simply roll 1d6 and then tell me the result.
Right.
It's not that 6 is good and 1 is bad. It's just that 6 is peaceful. 5 and 4 are you meet something of order, something kind of artificial and created, and 3, a 2, or a 1, you hit something that's natural.
on my side, I get to roll the dice, which is rare for the WildSea's GM. And I roll to see how awful things go for you.
We can just tell you.
Yeah, badly. Based on what we've seen so far, badly.
Well, I rolled a 2, so...
Okay, just something natural. Okay, and my dice roller tells me, okay, wonderful. And the best bit for me is that I get to keep that from you. So, I know how bad things are going to go. You don't. You have to establish from context clues how bad things are going to go. Luckily for you, these are going to be easy context clues to work out because a swarm of flying lizards descends on your ship the moment you leave port. You are literally within a stone's throw of this ruined jetty before they just dive bomb you. You are going fast. You can't escape this swarm instantly. However, what you can do is try and mitigate it somehow. So, how do you deal with this swarm?
For the record, in our channel we let people spend points to like boon and doom people. They just gave the game master a power up, so do with that what you feel like.
Oh, thank you. In that case, I will. Actually, I have a wonderful idea for that. I am happily going to lead into that.
We're going to learn the death and dying rules.
Thanks, God.
Oddly enough, death and dying, there are no official rules for when you should die, other than when it makes narrative sense for your character. But there are rules for just how bad things can go for you. So, yeah, and let's try some of those out.
I guess at some point it's up to the player to decide to throw in the towel, like, okay, enough, right?
Yeah.
I'm dead, I get it.
I've lost all my resources, every aspect is fully burned, I've got horrible injuries.
You're alone at the bottom of the cannon. You're at the bottom, no one sees you, you're lost in the mud.
I'm just an arm that can only speak with old hand.
You're lost in a labyrinth of tree roots that goes on until the end of time.
I wouldn't throw in the towel then either. So,
you're like, good, just the peace I've always wanted.
So,
Yes.
You are made of centipedes. Centipedes are not butterflies, but they are close enough for these things. So when these lizards dive bomb you, they are not dive bombing the ship in general. They are dive bombing you in particular. I would like you to roll to react to this.
I foresaw such a situation. I would like to spend one of my 5 tracks of Shirk the Skin and shed my husk and become a mass of moving centipedes, able to move through small spaces and have a climb speed. So I'm just going to burst into a massive swarm of centipedes and start slithering down below deck.
That is a wonderful use of Shirk the Skin. Which is also one of my favorite aspects of the Chalice. It's
very cool.
I will grab the helm.
That's a good plan too.
My captain just exploded into centipedes. God, these sentences are great. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, you make your way down into not the depths of your ship perhaps, but deeper into it. You kind of worm your way into those kind of cracks and crevices in the reef iron hull. Are you aiming to get below decks and reform, or to stay as a kind of swarm?
So I'm actually exactly looking to go down and reform. I'll take my time doing it like a minute and a half. It feels good to stretch.
Okay, that makes sense. While you are doing that, I am going to ask, you are now at the helm, I believe, Jahan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like you to make a roll for me. Mm-hmm. Because your Chelicray companion has successfully avoided damage through using Shirk the Skin, but these lizards are still after him, even though he is below decks. They are just trying to rip through the hull. And there are lots of them. They're very small, but they're also very eager. You are going to need to either jink your ship away effectively, or find some other way to get them to stop doing that. Ty, you can also help with this, of course. These things play out like a scene once they're started, which it definitely is started. But I would love to see a ratings roll for you, because we want to show off some ship stuff. So I can give you some examples if you want.
I would like to attempt to maneuver the ship in such a way that it like throws them off.
Yeah, perfect.
Like I want to like blast the juice out the bottom so we like do a flip.
Bye.
FYI, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, I was about to say then speed might work or tilt might work, but seeing as you've literally used the words do a flip, I'm going to say roll tilt. Your
the
tilt
first time
rating
someone
is...
said do a flip.
Oh no, we've had a lot of flips.
Thank God. Okay, good.
Yeah, your tilt rating is 1d6.
Okay, I just roll that.
You do indeed.
Nice. I did it too.
Okay, so it's a disaster. There's no twist involved. It just means something goes horribly wrong. You are moving at speed.
Yeah.
As you're the one at the helm, I'd like you to tell me how this goes horribly wrong. And as an extra little, because disasters are meant to be genuinely disastrous, Casualty, you're below decks, so this is going to be an unsettling experience for you as the ship flips without your knowledge. I mean, you'll know it pretty quickly. But Ty, you're on the deck. So once it's been explained, I was, is probably a good sentence. Once it's been explained how the ship is going to fail at this flip, I'd like you to tell me how you are personally affected by it as well. So, yeah, let's go. Johanna.
So the first part of me fucking up is I didn't say hold on to anybody. That'll be the first way I messed up. The second way is I probably put too much juice in it, so I probably like dissolved everything below us, and we just like fell through the trees and kind of wound up all cattywampus in some form or another. But yeah, below we go below the sea a little bit.
Okay, I can go with that.
Too much juice, and yeah, I didn't say hold on, so whoops.
Perfect. And Ty, how does that affect you?
Well, I'm a wave walker, right? I'm diving in. I'm diving overboard. I can feel the lift, and I'm like, I'm going with it right out.
Perfect.
Been there, done that.
Then I would like you to roll wave walking for me. Wave walking is not like swimming, but it's close. It's like a mixture of swinging and brachiation and climbing, and it is just surviving in a place that is inherently hostile to you. A place where putting a foot wrong might lead to you falling hundreds or thousands of feet to your death through kind of chemically treated branches. So let's see how this goes.
Okay.
Yes,
So is it a unique skill check?
This is one of the few times where, normally I'll say like roll to avoid something, roll to do something, but this is one of those times where the sea is involved. Wave walking is a pretty important one.
It's single die.
Roll the. Okay. You can still throw an edge on there or any kind of aspects that you want or any advantages. But I would definitely like it to involve wave walking.
Okay. I would like to use tides just because I know this environment a bit.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so I get 2 dice then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was there anything else I can try to add, or is it that?
If you can think of an environmental advantage, but seeing as you're currently on a ship spinning wildly forwards as it attempts an unexpected flip, environmental advantages may be thin on the ground. But it doesn't mean there's none. It is a narrative-based game.
I mean, I would... if I could use the rail to give myself a propulsion away from the ship so I don't get like caught in the flip.
Absolutely perfect. Give yourself an extra d6 for that.
Sweet. All right, here I go. And so I'm taking the highest one, yeah?
Yep, 3d6, take the highest. I'm going to ask you to cut one, so cut the highest and take the second highest, because it's still a very unexpected situation.
All right. How about a 4? I cut the 5.
That is a conflict. That is a conflict which is much, much better than disaster. You succeed in wave walking. Tell me how you hit the waves and don't fall.
Okay, I grab the railing, launch myself over the edge, dive for the canopy, and thwack myself on a branch, like under the armpits. and keep myself from slipping by essentially swinging by my underarms on this rough branch.
Okay,
And
that
then
sounds
scramble.
perfect. And the bad part of your conflict, I think we're going to keep it simple. You lose one of your resources. As you hit that branch, something is jolted out of your packs or pockets or wherever you keep these things. You can choose what you lose.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
I think my fossilized fungus goes flying.
Oh, I like that stuff. Okay, then yes, it just disappears, bounces from branch to branch down into the kind of depths below. We found out what happened to the ship and at the helm and to the survivors on the deck. Now, what happened inside the ship?
I'm happy to say that it is just like having a Tupperware box full of rice. There is lots of click clackety, lots of shaking around. I'm okay for the most part. Really shaken up, but okay.
Take it to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is fair. I'm assuming the ship landed kind of right side up.
I did not specify that it did so. No.
Okay, the ship landed reasonably right side up.
Yeah,
let's
I'll
say.
allow you to decide on that one.
You've had a run of not great luck, so
I
let's
have,
give you
yeah.
a little.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, I've loved it.
I do too.
So yeah. But it does mean that your ship comes to a halt. In fact, it comes to a grinding halt. You have just gone below the first layer of the WildSea. I mean, technically second. The first layer is the sky. Doesn't really help at the moment. The WildSea itself is split into several distinct layers. The uppermost layer, the thrash, that is where it's all kind of wind and leaves and thin whipping branches. You have just plunged your ship down into the tangle, which is much, much thicker. So when you hit the tangle, which is what a lot of hulls rest on as they're traveling, you are now kind of wedged into it. Deceleration is important and probably vaguely painful for all of you. But it also means that those lizards are indeed thrown off, like they are taken off the hull from it. But
So I succeeded.
You did succeed in a roundabout way, but your ship is now stuck in the tangle. How you deal with that? I'll leave it up to you.
It's like you were told to park the boat and you just went blasting into the bulkhead and you're like, I did it. I parked the boat.
It's like I just put it in reverse all the way.
Reminds me of the movie Snatch. It was at a funny angle.
How do you say your name, Gary? Extract, or how do you say it in your language?
Just wing it.
Okay. Extract, are you alright? I'll look around. I'll try to find one of his pieces.
A sentient type human head, I guess not human head, a head is going to form by his feet, made up of centipedes.
Yes, I am beginning to get sick of clearing your ships out of the depths.
And then the rest of the centipedes will start to slowly come up out of the deck and form back into the humanoid four-armed silhouette. And I'm actually going to show off my my weapons for the first time. So I think they are called. Where did I put it? The Jagsari.
Yep, Jagsari. Yeah.
So the Jagsari is like a big serrated, jagged blade for hacking through and cutting through the thickest vines. And I've also read that you can combine different things together. Different items and such. So I went ahead and combined those with my black market pistols. So I have 4 black market Jagsari pistols. And
I like that.
Yeah, big serrated blades with pistols built into the grips. And I'll start to head towards the bow of the boat to cut us out.
Okay.
I will go search for Sulfugue.
That makes sense too.
Sulfugue!
I'm over here.
Wow, you sounded really far away.
That was really good. Yeah.
You like threw your voice. Can I help him get back?
Interesting question.
Can I throw him a line or something?
Yeah, you could do that, but there's probably something else that you should be paying attention to, which is the fact that you're in the tangle, and the tangle, as well as being thicker than the thrash, is more densely populated. You may have shaken off these lizards, but there are other dangers of the tangle, and Sulfugue is an individual, a small individual, an individual who can wave walk, so they're not going to fall, but an individual that is suddenly outside the protective shell of the ship that most people use. And there's a reason people use ships to cross the WildSea. It's because small things, they make really good prey. You see something move through the branches and leaves behind Sulfugue. It's not running wildly at you, but it's noticed you.
I'll put my hands up for Sulfugue. In old hand, I'll tell him like calm, slow. Even if he doesn't speak it, he might know those.
Yeah, that's sensible. And just so you know, I'm starting an extra track. This track is simply called Prey.
Pray, right?
I mean, it works both ways, to be honest.
Someone asked in the chat, how do mushrooms talk? And someone responded that mushrooms speak sporely.
Oh.
I had to look at it, so you all have to deal with it now.
That's fair.
I can appreciate it.
But yeah, I'll tell him like calm down. And I'll try to get Extract's attention too, and I'll be like, look over there.
I'll look around.
Okay. You don't see anything moving, but from where you are, you notice that the kind of birds and insects that normally are so loud on the WildSea, they are suddenly quiet. There is definitely something larger and more dangerous in the area.
How far away am I? And this also begs the question of movement. How does that work?
Movement is a kind of dramatic theatre of the mind thing. You are a couple of stones throws away from the ship, given that you kind of launched yourself away from it to not be caught under it, which is sensible. Could you make your way back to the ship in like a single action, a single swing of the spotlight in your direction? Yeah, you could. But could things also go wrong while you're doing that? Yeah, they could. So there is no like specific rules for how far you can move or anything else. It is all, does it work for the scene?
I am going to man the gun and point it towards my compatriot in case that thing chases him.
That makes sense. And in fact, I'm going to mark the prey track once as you start doing that, because creatures of the WildSea often have a decent amount of experience with ships, and you have just made what is, some would say, was a potentially aggressive action. You're more ready for what's going to happen. That is, like, don't get me wrong, that is not a bad thing to do, but you have been noticed. There is a shift and a cracking of branches behind you, Sulfugue.
I am going to invoke everything that I am meant to do in this life, which is veil, stealth, and camel model.
That sounds good.
Can I do all those things together?
Yeah, you can, definitely. Yeah, that's perfect.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm just going to try and disappear into the canopy.
Yeah, roll for it. Roll for it and tell me how it looks to Extract, because he was just signaled that this thing was there, so he'd be looking over in your direction.
Okay, so Extract, you come up. Are you in the canopy or are you on the craft?
I am on the ship.
Okay, so you've looked in that direction as well to see what's like the situation. I think probably I appear, if I succeed, to just disappear, just like fade away into the canopy, not like go under. But just, I'm there and then I'm not.
Let's see how it goes.
Oh, I got a 4.
Okay, a conflict. Perfect. You do indeed seem to fade away. Your camouflage mottle kind of flickers into effect. Your skin takes on the coloring of the skin, fungus, body, casing, something.
Yeah, my fiber.
Flesh. Yeah, fiber. Your fiber takes on the kind of patterns and things
Your
and
mushroom
branches
meat.
around you.
Yeah.
Well, that's a horrible phrase, but okay.
I'm a master of horrible phrases.
That's good. And the downside of this is not something that you're immediately cognizant of, but Extract is. Because Extract watches you from the bow of the ship, because you were going to kind of like cut some of the kind of branches and leaves and vines holding the ship in place, I think, weren't you, Extract?
Yes, that's exactly what I was planning on doing.
Yeah.
And even with him slipping away, I'm still going to focus on getting the ship cleared up because he might hide for a round.
Yeah, that makes sense. But you see him do this kind of mottling trick, and you've probably seen it before. But you also see something behind him do exactly the same thing in reverse. Something that was incredibly well camouflaged stops being well camouflaged. As you fade away, Ty, the thing behind you that you have not seen yet, but Extract has a wonderful view of now, flickers into existence. And Extract, how well do you know the creatures of the sea?
Actually, very well. I've been on the sea for a long time. I've had a sort of a jaded career on the sea, but I've come across a lot.
Okay. Then I will let you know what you actually see. I don't see any massive what's name in keeping it from you. I think it's nice to let people know things sometimes. You have just encountered a Camellia Cuda.
That sounds pretty frightening.
Yeah, Camellia Cudas are between normally like kind of 12 to 20 foot long. They are part chameleon and part barracuda, as you might imagine. These kind of big, blunt faces and long tongues and madly staring eyes and weird, shifting, mottling, jackknifing tail bodies. This tail was wrapped around, this kind of long barracuda-esque tail was wrapped around the rest of the creature and has just uncoiled. It is stalking slowly towards, all of you in particular, all of you in general, but one of you in particular. So,
I'm still aware. Sorry.
I am afraid if we don't get this ship unstuck, we will be prey very soon.
I fear you're right, my friend. But I'm not gonna untrain the gun. If it makes a move, I'll shoot. But I'm not doing I'm waiting.
I'm gonna start bashing through the trees as hard as I can, as fast as I can. These things are bad news.
They are very bad news. Camellia Cuda, they are the kind of things that have evolved really well to deal with the fact that large ships full of enticingly tasty crew pass by their lairs. So, yeah, your food. Now, this feels like it might be a minor combat. But the WildSea does not really handle combat as a specific different type of scene. What it does handle is encounters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a strategy track, which just means that you have a certain number of things you should do before the Camellia Cuda is bested. And that bested could be escape, it could be killing, it could be outfoxing, it could be whatever strategy you choose to use. I mark it down this track as it works. So most importantly, you have to decide what you are doing with this thing. What are you trying to achieve? And it could be multiple approaches at once as well.
My only goal is escape.
That is not a bad goal at all.
I'm going to invoke my outwit skill.
And I just want to break us out.
That works too. So yeah, you cutting the ship free, that goes towards this encounter strategy track just as well as attacking the thing or escaping the thing as well. It's everything you do is now working towards getting away from or surviving this encounter. And I will pass focus to anyone who wants it. Normally, in scenes, people say what they want, do what they want. There's no initiative order still now. But I will note down who has done big things and who has done small things and who's reacted to things, just so everyone gets equal spotlight as things go on. So focus is open. Who wants to take it?
I think Ty should do it first. I need to know where he is before I fire my acid gun.
Entirely fair. So you have narrative focus, Ty. Go for it.
All right. So explain. So narrative focus means I'm trying to detail what's.
This is your action, your time in the spotlight to do something. You could do a few small things, you could do one big impressive thing, but whatever it is, make sure it matters to you.
Okay. I am hoping to identify the threat first. And in identifying the threat, I want to use timing to judging this creature probably as something that's not super intelligent, but more of a predator.
Yeah.
And being a hunter myself as well, having a hunting awareness, I want to outwit it by evaluating its intent and then not being there when it strikes.
Perfect. Go for it.
All right. So I can use one skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm going to use tides again because that's some knowledge of the nonsense that I'm facing right here.
Knowledge of the nonsense is such a nice fit for tides.
And I think that's about all I've got. Well, I've got the environmental situation. I guess I still have my model, my camo.
Yeah,
going.
you are literally kind of mottled to take advantage of your environment. That will happily give you an extra die of advantage.
Okay, so I will use those 3 and see what happens. And I'm not there. Hey, there's a 6.
Okay, that is a triumph. Tell me what happened.
So I'm just holding my pace, and I'm like, oh boy, that's a Barracuda. I know I don't have that name right, but and I'm like, all right, I'm going to not be here when it gets here. And I wait, and I'm like, I don't think it can see me, but and my spores are kind of wafting out. I'm like, damn it, all right. And I'm just waiting, and I'm like, oh, and I like let the spores build up in a certain area. And then as it swarms up, as it rolls through the canopy, I'm going to just swoosh down underneath it and like pull myself along the branches under its body, under its stomach, as it swivels onto the patch that I've left behind and not be there when it swings on by.
Yeah, that is perfect. I am marking the strategy track. That is good. You have frustrated this thing, something chronic. It jackknives through the air, scattering spores everywhere, but it does not touch you at all.
Yes.
Okay, focus is open. Somebody else take it.
Bad bash, 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 bash. I'm trying to clear our front end out of the trees.
Okay, that sounds good. This is actually a good time to mention impact. If you want to do things which go past the normal kind of general level of impact an action can have, you can cut dice on your rolls voluntarily. So if you wanted to go from normal impact to, say, massive impact, or not massive impact, that's terrifying, that's what ship weapons do, which we might see in a bit. If I go through from normal impact to high impact, so like the difference between, kicking a door open and kicking a door off of its hinges with a single kick, you can cut a die voluntarily. If you want to get the ship out as fast as possible.
So far today, I'm just at, I think, just failure after abysmal failure. I'm just going to go with I'm not going to cut myself down. I'm going to keep...
fair enough. Fair enough.
Maybe I do want to. Don't get me wrong, but
Well, there's no other cut. There's no other cut on the action. You are not being harassed by the Camellia Cuda yourself.
I am gonna hack. I'm just gonna hack away, and I have the Jagsari, the black market Jagsari pistols, if that helps at all. And
yep, that's nice. 56.
I'll use teeth to get through it this time, not sharps.
Yeah, that's work. And I believe the Jagsaris probably do serrated damage.
Yes, they do.
You are going to deal more impact on the track as a standard anyway. You're going to deal an extra box because you are cutting through these things.
One of our viewers has offered a boon to Gary.
Ooh,
nice.
I'll take it. So do I take off the highest die this time, or do I get to keep it this time?
Nope, no cut if you're not going for extra impact. Then if you're not voluntarily going for extra impact, then
thank you for the boon. I have rolled a 6 and a 3, and a 2 and a 1. So a 12 altogether if I add them.
No, just the 6.
Just the highest, just the 6.
Just the 6.
I was like, that's insane. That's because earlier I rolled like 1s and 2s though, so this is why I have to ask.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just the 6, which is a triumph. So, you manage to slice through a vast amount of this stuff at a great speed. you also manage to do it in a way that camouflages you as you're doing it. It keeps you out of the Camellia Cuda's sightline, so it is still distracted by these spores, and you have managed to free your ship to a pretty good amount without drawing its attention to you.
You guys just see the whirling, the four arms and the serrated machetes just chopping away, and it almost sounds halfway between the thudding of a machete and the screaming sound of like a sawmill. It is just that fast. It's right there.
And so Ty is not yet on the ship, right? Not
No.
yet. But you came this way, right? A little bit.
Honestly, I just it's like
Try not to
swooped
die.
underneath.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
I'm about in the same spot, somewhere out there,
Okay.
about the same distance.
As he is camouflaged, I'm not going to shoot the acid gun that way because I don't know where he is. I suppose, since I'm already on the acid gun, I could try to help Gary. Can I use the gun to help clear the path?
Oh yeah, definitely. It doesn't sound dangerous at all.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I don't want to melt Gary, though. That's the issue. Or do I?
Then, cutting exists for a reason. When things get difficult, you start cutting. If you want to cut for precision,
Okay.
you can cut 1d6, and if you manage to cut 1d6 and still succeed, there is no chance you will hit your companion whatsoever.
I will use instinct. I'll use my sense of 2 to, look at him.
Yep, that works perfectly.
And then, is the gun of the ship a count as a extra dice?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I got 4. I'll cut 1
Yep.
to greatly increase my not shooting of Gary. I rolled a 2, and I got 2 1s here. I rolled a 5, a 2, and 2 1s. It's my first time using these dice. They're not doing it for me.
It's made disaster to the game for a long time. I love it. Let's get this straight.
Now let me have it, man. I'm good.
No, let's get this straight. You don't hit your companion. You cut for precision. That precision is still there. However, in trying not to hit your companion, what you do manage to do is that acid goes far further. It's a far more pressurized, kind of concentrated jet. And it starts cutting through branches, which the Camellia Cuda was resting on as it kind of went into the spore cloud, which means the Camellia Cuda jumps for the only stable thing in the environment, which is your ship.
Yes.
The disaster is not so much damage, it is the fact that the Camellia Cuda is now Theatre of the Mind style smashing down onto your deck, probably right next to you. Ty, great news for you.
I'm gonna look at it and go, huh? And then we'll move on.
Yeah.
Which language?
Probably Chothic. My native tongue.
So this thing, it is big, it is heavy, and it is long, and it slams down the deck, and you see some of that refined plating just give way under its feet, and then it's got these big claws used for hanging onto branches, and when they contract, it just tears gouges through the hull. I am taking a point of damage to your ship's armor, which I think is fair.
This artifact. You destroy my ship and now I come for you.
I turn around and put my fingers on all the triggers of all the guns and point 4 arms of 4 black market saw pistols at him.
Well, its madly rolling eyes will then focus on you. But before you find out what happens there, two things are going to happen. One, there was a twist roll as part of that, which could be it could be a negative, could be a benefit. I mean, it's up to you as a table. So if you have any ideas of what the benefit of a giant Camellia Cuda slamming down onto your deck might be.
The tree that I cut down murders the lizard.
I've got one as well. Since the front end is already partly cleared out, maybe him jumping on the back unwedges us just enough to get going.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool if we could get moving even with it on the bow.
Mm-hmm.
That's way cooler. Yeah.
Oh, I am happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those cut branches and the weight of this thing hitting and you have freed your ship from being stuck in the tangle. It's still in the tangle, but the tangle is traversable. I mean, you just need a bit of a run up and some speed to start getting through.
I'm going to start that process and yell for Safug. Safug, we're going.
Okay.
I'm
well,
moving.
Focus at this point would normally be open. However, some extracty type person has just made a lovely aggressive move towards this Camellia Cuda, and it is going to respond in kind. I don't roll for these things. You roll as a reaction. This thing surges towards you with incredible speed. It is not trying to bite, it is trying to tail slap you straight off the ship.
I am going to respond with teeth, and I don't know if the Jagsari helps at all, but that's still what I'm using for melee.
It depends entirely on what you're trying to do. The way like attacking and defending stuff works, especially defending, is like you work out fictively what kind of action you're taking, and then tailor your die to that. And the damage, like the potential damage and fallout, is also from me tailored to what you're trying to do. So in this situation, just as an example, you could try and dodge out the way of the tail, you could try and brace against it, you could try and grab it as it goes past to soften the blow, you could try and slash it to pieces as it hits you, entirely up to you.
Yeah, I'm going to try to catch it with slashes as it comes in. Blades are ready, forearms are ready. I'm just going to try to make it pay for a tail slash.
Yeah, go for it.
Loop. I rolled a 6 on my highest.
That is not bad. In fact, that is a triumph. You are going to have to sacrifice something to do this, because this thing is big and strong, but your triumph means that you have succeeded. There's no damage involved. The tail comes towards you. Tell me what you do.
What I'll give up is one track of the Jagsari.
That is entirely fair.
And let's see, so that leaves me at 6. And as it comes in, it's this 4-armed hail of swords that are pounding on this thing. It's an entire colony of creatures pounding back, not relative, not ardent strength, not what it thought it might come across, but a hail fury of bladed hell. So the tail comes back just covered in blood, it almost mangled from the moments it came slashing towards me. Also, I'd like to think there's like sawdust and wood and splinters mixed in, since I just came from tree smashing duty.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I'm going to mark that down because you triumphed. You have literally beaten it in its attack on you. I'm marking down some damage to its strategy track as well. And as I mark this damage down, I should tell you, it is looking less sure of itself. Like, it's not retreating, but this thing is on the verge of. It was not expecting to have its prey disappear. It was not expecting to have its branches cut away from under it. And it was not expecting to be sliced horribly when doing the attack. Like, you have taken this thing by surprise.
I definitely want to. When I was building my character, I built this so that I could blow my load and do this right here. I would like to use my multiple arms to fire all of my pistols. And just use as many track things as you'll let me use at once. Which I think I can hold, I can use the forearms so I can mark 1, and then I can have the 4 pistols so then I could mark 4 there and make 4 long-ranged attacks. Does that sound right?
You don't need to mark for it, but it will increase your damage significantly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to increase the damage significantly. Let's blast this thing out of the sky.
Go for it.
Or into the sky.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, right.
Oh yeah, we're looking at some sixes. Yes, sir. And that's going to be teeth also. And so after it reels back, and I pull all 4 swords and pistols up, it's just blast, 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 and it gets railed through 4 separate times by bullets that are massive, probably the equivalent to a 50 or 65 caliber round. These one-shot pistol swords just shred through this organic meat creature.
That's what you might expect.
Oh no!
What damage type are you dealing?
Let me double check. Those are long-range blast damage.
They deal some damage, but nowhere near as much as you think they do. The silvery scales of the Camellia Cuda, they start kind of sloughing off. Where these bullets hit them, these scales basically explode outwards, kind of like chaff-deflecting missiles.
That's dope. It's like reactive tank armor.
Yeah, you have hurt it, but you have not hurt it to the extent that you were expecting to, and it is going to take advantage of that in a second. So don't feel like you failed. Feel like you've learned a horrible lesson.
I curse at it in knock.
It will stick its tongue out at you because it's a chameleon. But what you have done with that is you've definitely driven it back. Like that may not have dealt the killing blow you were hoping, but it has definitely shown that like you have a thing that can deal some damage. It is going to turn around at whoever is not dealing damage to it, which right now is you, Johannon. But in that moment, I think we should swing focus over to Ty, because Ty, you are outside of the situation, and this is a perfect point to leap in if you want to.
Yeah, I was thinking as I'm approaching the ship, as I'm swimming back, I see this thing undulating on top of the craft, and I see extract fire, and I see it rear back, and scales go flying everywhere, and I'm like, this might be a good time to help distract. And I'm going to use my spore slinger to give it a little surprise distraction if I can.
Yeah, go for it.
Can I add hunt to that?
You can indeed.
All right. Let's see if I have anything else. Oh, I'm going to use teeth.
Sounds perfect.
All right. Take that, you dude, Akuda. I got a 6 and a 3 and a 1, so I think I'd keep that 6, right?
You do indeed. What damage is your spore slinger doing?
It does one of 2 types. I was just about to look it up. It's like explosive or, I want to say acid. Where's
very acid focused.
Yeah. I'm almost there. It does toxin or blast. I'm going to do toxin.
That does make sense.
Yeah. Toxin. Well, I guess it's long-winded.
Toxin splashes up against the scales of this creature. Maybe normally it wouldn't do so much damage, but some of those scales are missing because of that last flurry of bullets that they had to deflect. Your toxin seeps into this thing as it bears down on Johannon's character name, which I'm going to say without a single break in this sentence, which is Waylon. Thank you. Nailed it. It bears down on Waylon. So this toxin seeps in, and it acts like an unexpectedly wounded animal. That charge it was making towards you, Waylon, turns into a kind of scampering semi-retreat, and it kind of slides back away from this thing, and you see its camouflage flicker back into life. It suddenly looks like it's made of the same junk-strung hull, the same kind of reef iron that your ship is made of. You can still see where it is. It is still a massive 20-foot-long lizard thing. But if it was at a distance, it would be hard to see, maybe. Of course, the fact that it's still leaving massive gouges in the deck as it moves is also a pretty big indicator of where it is.
I suspect the irony, too, is that I probably dropped mine. So we're flashing in and out.
That's fair. Yeah. But yeah, it kind of skitters around you, and that charge turns to something else entirely. It opens its mouth and sticks out its tongue. Jahan,
Yeah.
I would like you to react to this in some way, if you don't mind. Because this tongue is strong enough that it could literally pull you into its mouth in a single yank.
Gotcha. So I did pick a metal ship for a reason. So I'm standing inside, like, the cabin, and I imagine it's trying to, like, yank me through the open window or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to use my ferrokinesis to close it on its tongue and potentially either catch it or slice it off, whichever one happens.
Okay, I say go for it.
So I'm going to use... I feel like I'm trying to time it, so I feel like Instinct's better for this.
Instinct works perfectly.
And then Break, I think, is a good one.
That is a good one.
And then, yeah, my ferrokinesis. So I guess
go for it.
3 dice. 4 with double ones.
Okay, there is a conflict with a twist. Even though it's double ones, a twist is still a twist. That is good. Your conflict, the bad side of this, it's going to damage your ship. You are going to put more power into this, maybe because of the panic, maybe because of just an excess of enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm working on instinct, so I'm like, ah! No.
Yeah. You rip some of this housing completely off your ship. I am taking a point of damage to its seals. But the plus side is you do slice through the Camellia Cuda's tongue just before it hits you. It still hits you, but it's not attached to anything anymore. It just kind of slaps you in the face. And
like a wet fish.
Yes. And that is the last mark on the Camellia Cuda strategy track. This thing has been thoroughly outfoxed. It is angry, it is hurting, it is a very angry Camellia Cuda indeed. Angry enough that it's going to come and fight another day. It hisses, a loud, long hiss, looks at all of you in turn, and then just scampers off the side of your ship and back into the waves.
We will keep your tongue, you lucky bastard, and when you come back, we will have it mounted on the front of the ship.
You know, it's funny you should say that, because you do get the benefits of killing this thing. You get, whichever one of you wants to take it, you get a Camellia Cuda tongue as a specimen, and you also get Camellia Cuda scales as a specimen, seeing as your blast knocks on and off.
I guess I'll take the tongue.
Wait, did hit you in the face.
Maybe we'll eat it.
That's a very Monster Hunter-esque type of loot system. Love it.
Yeah, I played a lot of Monster Hunter World for a long time. Pretty much as I was designed to WildSea.
I've played every Monster Hunter game, and I love it. Yeah, I'll take the tongue. I guess you guys can have the scales.
Extract,
Yeah.
you should take the scales. I'm not up there yet. I'm just climbing on. I'm just getting over the side at this point.
I'm gonna like, I guess a lot of the extra damage is gonna come from when I open the window.
Yeah,
it's gonna like crunch. And I'm like, ah. And there's just like a skylight now. I'm like, maybe they won't notice. They're a mushroom and a conglomerate of bugs, so maybe they won't notice the hole.
But I'll tell you what does notice the hole on the roof. Tiny
No.
flying lizards.
Yes.
But not enough of them to cause a problem. Just means that as you look out through this new hole in the roof, you see that the air is full of butterflies. The next murder. The next murder has arrived, and lizards are everywhere, snapping them out the sky. But these butterflies are hardy things. There is a pitched aerial dogfight going on above you. Butterfly to lizard.
Sounds kind of one-sided.
You'd think so, but butterflies in the wild can be pretty scary if they need to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I imagine they some of them firecracker when they get bit.
I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised.
That could be awesome. I'll look at my
Like a
compatriots.
lightning butterfly that when you bite it gives you a little shock.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Be fun to
Butterflightning.
Yeah, Butterflightning. Oh, what a fucking name. Man, you could sit outside and watch them flutter around and zap around in the dark. Oh, that'd be cool as hell. They could feed on glowing nocturnal plants.
It's cool enough that that is now exactly what is happening, just so you know. With every snap of their jaws, these are electrified. They're just bodies falling past you.
It's just raining lizards. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
just
a good thing.
torn butterfly wings and smoking lizards
See,
and sparks.
I feel
Looks like now we have more to eat besides dirty old rotten fruit. And I'll pick up a lizard and...
I feel like, yeah, there is food for people nearby, but it's definitely going to attract something.
Probably. But I like the fruit too. I'm happy with the... I'm glad we all have stuff to eat.
We all have plenty to eat. All right, I'm going to fire this baby up. You guys ready?
That makes sense. Yeah, you have successfully completed this small leg of your journey. There is only one box left on the progress track.
Oh. I will go up to Wayland. Wayland, thanks for waiting.
Yeah, I couldn't leave without you, friend. There's only so many people that will tolerate me.
I am happy to tolerate you.
The only reason we waited for you is because we were stuck in the broth.
I tolerate you too, extract.
Okay, well, let's get this poor ship moving. It has been damaged and chameleonified and smashed and flipped, but it's still seaworthy. So, yeah, choose your speed, and one of you make a watch roll for me.
All right, I'll watch.
Yeah, you can do it again.
I'm gonna keep the speed at not super speed this time.
Yeah, okay. That means I only roll one die to see how bad things get for you, rather than rolling two and taking the worst one.
And mine is a single die, yeah?
Yes.
6.
Nice.
That is peace, a result of peace. And I'm actually going to use the resources I have, because I should do that sometimes. And I'm going to actually roll to see what exact piece you get.
Piece of a lizard tongue.
Yeah, that piece, not pieces. Okay. So. Oh, lovely. Okay. I will. I do need to use my own resources more. It's one of those things you kind of slip into because you've made the thing that you can just kind of do anything. But sometimes it's nice to actually look at what you've written and go, "Oh yeah, I've written rules for that."
Yeah, people love tables. I found that out a long time ago. It's really easy to make a table of your own. Anyone can do it, but people buy a book because of how many and how beautiful your tables are and how creative your tables are.
Yeah. Well, I have rolled a 4 on the basic watch roll results for peace. It's a chance for one of the crew to tell a tall tale, allowing another crewmate to gain a whisper as you travel. So if one of you has a tall tale to tell, then another one of you can take a whisper from it.
I mean, I am kind of a traveling type that does have like rumors and stuff. I'm happy to do it. So yeah, all these lizard corpses falling down, it makes me worry about what it could bring. I've heard tales of swarms of creatures that live below waiting for slaughter to take root above. And as the blood rains down beneath the eaves of the iron bow, something rises. I'll look around. Hopefully not today, though.
It was a good tall tale. I like that. Yeah. Casualty tie. One of you can take a whisper from that. Which one of you would you like it to be?
You want an extract? I
Yeah.
have one.
Yeah, I'll gladly. I have one too, but I like that one. I just like the monster hunting legend. I think that's just a fun whisper for my character to pick up.
Yeah. You can make the whisper yourself. Just string a few words together that work for you. That related to the story, obviously.
That's a cool one. I didn't know that you could make whispers like that. That's dope.
All right, so the whisper is the blood drinkers lurk beneath.
Nice.
Perfect.
What have I done?
Yeah. That's not going to be horrible and hideous at all. That's great. So yeah, okay. Well, with that period of peace, and peace is a weird word to use for you traveling at a decent speed across rustling leafy waves with lizards and broken butterflies falling out of the sky as you head towards a newly risen stone island that you created by accidentally melting the inner core of a giant spearhead statue while trying to uproot a tree. It is somehow still a peaceful journey. And you do manage to get to this newly risen stone island, which, as you draw closer to it, you realize is not really an island at all. It's a hand, a gigantic stone hand, maybe a quarter of a mile across. It was once holding part of the shaft of the spear, and now it is empty.
I feel it was necessary to find this.
Hopefully.
It is fitting for us to come across an upright hand, as if to give the community somewhere to live.
That is some nice symbolism.
You guys are just trying to make me feel better, I'll say.
Maybe so. Actually, if you need a stopping point, stream time-wise.
Yeah, this is exactly it.
That's
We're
great.
2 minutes from our usual stop time. You
Okay.
nailed it.
Nailed it!
Perfect.
Bravo!
Okay, that's good.
wow.
Then yeah, you don't get to explore the newly risen hand from the depths, but maybe one day you will.
This was awesome. This
It
was
was- yeah,
everything,
everything
I
I
wanted it to be and more. I'm blown away that we had the WildSea playtest B, and we hadn't seen everything that's come onto D. And I feel like I just got like a free download. I feel like I just got a bunch of free content in a game. I'm blown away at all the new background features. And can we expect more of that whenever this book releases?
Yeah, and it's pretty soon. We've been on the cusp of being finished with the PDF for so long now. We're just waiting for those last few art assets, that last bit of editing, making sure the backer names are all in there right, all that little kind of the tiny stuff you have to do at the end. And it takes so much longer than I thought, and it's so frustrating because I spent months and months and months working massively creatively on this thing. Just like whenever I had a new idea, write it down, put it in the book. Can I fit it in the book? Okay, that's great. And now it's just spending time going, okay, got to copy this name across. Okay, got to make sure this background lines up. Okay, that needs to move 2 millimeters up.
It looks awesome with just the designs in the background on every page that keep it kind of flowing, and art on every 2 or 3 pages. It seems like tons of colored art, lots of different styles, lots of options, and
Yeah,
then
it looks
formatting.
great.
Yeah, the formatting is really good. The use of the different text, the different sizes in your boxes, the formatting's great. So whoever's doing, are you doing your own formatting?
Oh no, well, sort of. While the majority of the text and stuff is mine, the basic layouts are mine. We got Leo, Blue 2 Days, fantastic layout artist. He's doing all of the background stuff and gave me the templates to work with and basically talked me through learning to use InDesign. Because I used to use Page Plus, which was a nice system, but InDesign is industry standard, etc., etc.
It looks great. There are some awesome creatures on here and awesome layout.
Yeah, and so many other people have now really helped with this. They've turned it from playtest B, which was fun but raw, and they've turned it to something that feels like a real book. So I should thank the publishers, and I should thank the other artists, Schmeckrol and Oma-chan and Pierre. They've all done such a fantastic job. And in fact, for the new stuff, we've had several new artists come in as well, just to fill in some little gaps that existed before. Some new landscape stuff, a bit more color. So hopefully as nice as Playtest D looks, and I think I'm allowed to say I think it looks nice. The final release, which should be PDF-wise, hopefully like a month away, knock on wood, and book-wise early next year, shipping, Christmas, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, hopefully when it arrives, people will look at it and go, hey, I backed a good thing.
Even after spending an hour building my character and then 3 hours playing this game, I can tell you after this, I'm going to go downstairs and open up my phone and go through all the bloodlines and all the aspects, and I'm going to look at everything that I didn't pick this time for every other race and class. I'm so excited for this game. All this did was make me even more excited to play this game. I know that Jahan and I plan on playing on the stream, doing a campaign at some point.
I was one of the original backers, and I have the print version coming. I'm so excited for. I backed it at PDF level, and then I played the. We messed around with the playtest, and then I immediately went upgraded to a print version. I was like, I gotta own this.
Thank you. That's really nice to hear.
We've been psyched about this game. It actually lived up to the hype. Like, a lot of times we get excited and then we're like, but this was like, this was everything we wanted it to be. It was awesome.
I'd like to just jump in, if I may, because this is completely new to me, and I was actually on a panel with Gary and Jahan last month, which is how we met. And I think you mentioned it in passing there the first time, and I heard this concept of this like treetop, sea and things like that. Like that's original. There, yeah, that's unique. And then they kindly invited me tonight to participate. I'm really grateful for that opportunity because I had a lot of fun. I like my little mushroom guy, and and you can. I really want to go down into the depths now and see what's down there to consume my face.
Oh, I'm really glad you enjoyed it. And as far as the depths are concerned, in the core book, the Darkness Under Eaves, which is the lowest level, is left almost entirely undefined. But there are a few other layers deeper than the tank, which do get some stuff and some creatures to put in them and some civilizations and various things. But hopefully not too late after the release of the physical book, we've got the first free supplements coming out, because there was stuff that we got the funding for during the Kickstarter, but literally just could not fit in the book in the end. And one of them is submersibles. So there will be ways to get even deeper into the WildSea at some point in the future, which should be nice. So,
That's cool.
I don't even know what to do with that. That's exciting stuff. Like, I feel like my head's going to explode. But yeah, so thanks for being on Fresh Out the Box. We loved having you. Maybe one day we'll have you again. And
I'd love it. This is really fun. And you were really great to play with. You've been saying all these nice things about me. I should definitely say something nice about you. Partly because it's polite, partly because it's true. I had a really great time. You were a great group.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, we'd love to have you again. This game was fantastic. Everything that we were expecting and so much more. We played a lot of these low prep settings. And sometimes, they sound better on paper. But this one really delivers on the collaborative structure necessary for this kind of thing to be successful.
One of my big problems with the low prep settings is that they feel like a soulless dungeon a lot of times. Like, you build your guy, you go into a dungeon. The dungeon is kind of the character. You're just there to die at the dungeon or to beat the dungeon. But this game feels a lot more personal, a lot more narrative. Like, there's a lot more fleshed out story going on. Now I'm not just walking to my death in a dark, cold dungeon.
Yeah.
This is a concept I've been considering as well in my design work. Interweaving the thematic with the mechanic is, I think, really valuable. And we've got that here. There's that interweaving with environment and encounter and character capability that all they feed each other, and that's how you avoid that, what you just described, Gary, as that soulless dungeon.
Definitely. Yeah.
One of the things in this game that I think does a great job of that, Ty, is when you're picking the resources, there are the whispers, the charts, the specimens.
Love it.
And I think that those things help, even when you're building your character, to push your narrative, because you get ideas just from having those, what you would like those to lead to. And your game master surely has some ideas, and people at your table, you know how this game works, they may have an idea that you like more. And so as you present these options, you're already holding quests in your inventory. You just don't even know it.
Yeah.
And at any point in time, someone can give you a secret or a whisper, and now you have another quest in your inventory that just isn't realized yet. And it's very cool to put that kind of thing in. It's you're holding your quest, and before you release it into the world, you get to hatch this little baby quest and decide what you want it to be.
That's a great point. I would find value in that. One of the tricks that I learned, because I DM group of 7 to 8 players every week.
Jeez.
Which is an enormous group, as we know.
Yeah.
And what this makes me think of is the flexibility to say, we're sitting down here, you tell me what you're doing, and then I'll tell you how that goes. And that's the trick to running a big group, but obviously it's also a nice technique for running a small group, because nobody knows what's happening, and so all the players are engaged at the same level.
Yeah. It's a lot of good. Just I don't know. Everybody's doing stuff all at the same time. It all matters. It's all important. Everybody feels like a main character doing something cool, and that's I don't know. I don't know what else to say. This game's great. I love it. If you haven't checked it out, you can check out the playtest available. Look up WildSea online, and the playtest is available too. There's a quick start available. And check it out.
Yeah, we've got all of our resources are linked from the Kickstarter page updates, and all the updates are open to everyone as well. So the playtest D, the most recent one, is completely free to whoever wants to download it. You don't need to be a backup or anything. So yeah.
Excellent. And also, are you open to pre-orders yet?
I think we are now.
I thought I saw something about that on the website. So yeah, if you want what you just saw at your disposal. Go to the link, Kickstarter, right there in the chat. Check it out. Go download the quick start if you're still feeling it out, or simply pre-order the book.
For anybody who's going to Kickstarter, I was looking it up earlier and I couldn't find it, but you got to go to the updates tab at the top of the page to get to Playtest D. That's where you go. So go to their Kickstarter, go to the playtest, or updates at the top. Or there's a link in our Twitch if you're here live, and you should go download this. There's no reason for you not to have this immediately on your computer or in your hands or in your brain.
219 pages of awesome. But yeah, so thank you so much.
I'd be murdered if I didn't mention the Discord as well. Because the Discord, we have a lot of people on there now, and it's been pretty quiet recently because everyone's just waiting for that final update to say, like, hey, proper PDFs coming out, because there's an extra 200 pages or so in that. But it would be, it's another good place to get news and extra bits. And there's some Discord only resources, and we have a massive amount of extra content made by other people on there as well. We have such a lovely group of people making unique kind of player created stuff for the WildSea, which I fully endorse.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check that out myself, like right after this stream. But yeah, so we have been Fresh Out the Box. This has been WildSea by Felix Isaacs, and I am Johannanon at RockFact on Twitter.
I'm the co-host Casualty CDG. You can find me at Casualty CDG all over the internet. Jahan and I are live every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 p.m. until 11 p.m. on twitch.tv/Johannanon. We also have a Fresh Out the Box YouTube, Fresh Out the Box Facebook. We have a podcast called Fresh Out the Podcast. That's on Spotify and Apple and Google and basically everything else you can imagine. We talk about TV shows, video games, streaming stuff, and basically anything in pop culture that we either love or hate. So if you want some more of us and you don't want us playing games, that's how to get us. Thank you for being here. And Ty, thank you for being our guest tonight. It was truly a pleasure to have you.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Just real quick, if you want to look for my stuff, just please go to adventureslang.com. You can find the Discord, you can find our podcast, you can find Twitter, Instagram, all that other stuff, all in one place. Brand new website just launched this week. And we've got increasingly levels of information coming from our system, which we hope to be kickstarting in the spring. So thanks for having me. I love you guys. It was great to be here.
If you kickstart it, we will play it. And Felix, last but not least, anything you want to say?
If for some reason you want to see me talk about things on Twitter, which happens roughly once a month, maybe, Isaacs_Felix, I think. That's how little I use it. But most of the update stuff for the WildSea is found in the Discord or the Kickstarter page. So just Google the WildSea and you'll find us.
Thank you so much. We've been Fresh Out the Box. You guys have been wonderful. Have a great night.